There's no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Woo! I tore them all down.
And I came here for one reason. To attack and keep coming.
I did this for the Rock.
You will rest in peace.
I asked you 1,000,000 times to join the NWO, or you would be born alive.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Bye-bye. And what you gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you?
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah! I will ride in nothing but limousines, and I will make love to nothing but the women of the world.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
You will know that your ass is mine.
Bye-bye.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
You got a championship belt? I don't.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
When Ric Flair's in town, showtime.
Woo! Sweet!
My belly's just a little big, my honey's just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
Beat me if you can survive, if I let you.
Orderly! It is Rolex time!
Quote the Raven.
You just made the list!
Who's you beat, brother?
Did you dig that? Sucker! I am the game!
The whole show.
If I can be serious for a minute.
You son of a bitch! Brock Lesnar! Damn!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Oh, you didn't know? I mean, you're the Donald Trump of wrestling. You make Steven Spielberg look like a guy running 8mm films in a garage someplace. Will you stop?
You don't want to recognize my belt, huh? You don't recognize my belt. I think you're a liar. I think you're a flat-out, straight-up, lying, crying bitch.
Rumors spreading round, United Texas town, about to shack outside the game. And you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls.
What is going on, you silly fuckers? It is Friday night. It is the Dirt Sheet Dudes. I am Boxman, and that is about as American as you can get. ZZ fucking top. And, of course, this is Memorial Day weekend. Most people have 3-day weekend. Glad to have one. God damn, do I need a 3-day weekend. I need a 3-week weekend. But, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Alongside me, of course, I've got Anthony and Smark. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Woo! 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Man,
Party time.
that's right. I'm so happy right now and I can't stand it.
He can't stand it, folks. He can't fucking stand it. Smart, can you stand it?
I can't stand it. No one can stand it. And the reason we can't stand it is because tonight we're here to kick your leg out of your leg.
Oh, shit. Here to do all that. Doing all that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just boosted you guys up a little bit. You were both a little bit low. Now, trust me, you are not anymore. There we go. All right. So we got a shitload of stuff to get into tonight, just like we did Wednesday night. But, Anthony, easy there, buddy. We've got Dark Side of the Ring. We've got some Mark Henry shit to get into. We've got Big Show telling stories about Andre and Hogan. We got a ton of shit to get into. Might even get into some cameo shit tonight, just for the hell of it. But anyway, of course, we should probably go ahead and knock out the plugs and get that over with. Let me go ahead and do that. All right, I think we can do that. Give me one sec. Let's find a song back here to do this too. Yeah, Slipknot sounds good. There we go. And of course, definitely, you guys want to check out Shaheen. You want to check out all his shit. You want to start off at nuclearheatshop.com. Then you want to go to chairshottees.com. And then you want to go to clothesline with a D, media.com. Then after that, you want to check out the High Marks. And of course, Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. And of course, Unscripted Wrestling. Want to check out those guys over there. Eric, Doug, Daniel, Kenneth. They have tons of people coming on over there. So just check them out. And of course, Stephen Milan. You want to check out some movie reviews. Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. There's 2 L's in Milan. And of course, subscribe, rate, review. All that shit right there. Follow us on Spreaker. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can find us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM. Anthony, there you go.
Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast, Jason Clark, available on all your podcast platforms such as Google, iHeart, Stitcher. Excuse me. Download, subscribe, review, and Rant Time with Ray, available on the same platforms, and Anchor.fm, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, same name.
All right, there we go. Plugs are done. Mark, anything you want to plug? You going to be anywhere this weekend?
Not going to be anywhere, but since you gave me the option, I will plug Polo and a Track on Tour podcast with Bobby Hanson, Yuck Nasty, and Papa Dave Sincere.
All right.
Little extracurricular plugging on my behalf. It always feels nice to plug.
No problem with that. No problem with that at all. Actually, going to go ahead and get it now too loud. Turn it back down a little bit, then I'll adjust your volume as we go. But there we go. Yeah.
Your voice too much. Every time you turn.
No. I don't know what's going on. Fucking Skype, man. Now it's all fucking weird. I might need to check your settings. I'll have to see. You guys might be turned down a little bit, and I'll check that real quick as we're going here. Yeah, man. What was that? Yeah. I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think. Yeah, we're good. We're good. There we go. See, we're getting louder already.
There we go.
Yeah. We're good. But there you go. So I guess we'll go ahead and start off with Dark Side of the Ring, and this one definitely fit the bill for the name. This was dark, man. This was pretty fucking nutty. Man, I don't even know where to begin. First of all, not one bad thing said about Owen Hart. Not even Jim Cornette didn't have a bad thing to say about Owen Hart. Okay,
and we'll get to
a lot
it.
Of money off the guys, so there's that.
All right.
And we'll get to it as we kind of go through the review. But dare I say, Cornette might have made the most poignant points in the entire broadcast.
Which was?
Fucking police charges should have been filed.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just, I mean, I guess we'll just start. They kind of started off, and I'm going by memory here, guys. I don't have anything pulled up. I don't know if you guys want to pull up a little run sheet or something, but I'd started off just talking a little bit about Owen and his family, and basically what a good father he was, and a good person is really where we started off. And like I said, man, I from all accounts that I've heard, obviously I didn't know him, but from all the accounts I've heard from people, Owen was just a real good, fun-loving, wanted to have a good time, and just a real nice guy, willing to do a lot of things for a lot of people. And like I said, that's just, from what everyone has said about him. But the stuff with him and his kids, man, was just tearing me apart, bro.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like, we all lived through Owen in real time. So going into it, I didn't expect to really have it hit me as hard as it did. But I think the primary reason it hit me so hard was that we finally, for the first time ever, got it from the other side. For like over 20 years, we've heard from the fans' perspective, we heard from wrestlers, but we never heard from the family, especially the kids. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, when you listen to these kids talk about their father, and they talk from a limited place of knowledge because they weren't that old when he passed away. You know, you hear, you got his daughter up there, you got his baby girl up there talking about, well, I like to go to the zoo. I don't have too many memories, but I knew he took me to the zoo a bunch of times. That's fucking brutal, man. You got these kids that are grown ass kids that don't have a whole lot to hold on to beyond memories and what people tell them about their father. They don't have anything to draw from of their own experiences. And I feel like that's probably what gutted me the most.
Yeah. And
it was senseless. It was senseless because Owen was one of those guys that, by all accounts, was a very clean living guy. I'm sure he, maybe had a beer every now and then, but he wasn't like a partier. He wasn't a pill guy. He wasn't a guy that, went out cheated on his wife on the road. He was just a guy that ribbed, played jokes, went to work, came home.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm real quick question. Which one of y'all was watching that night? Who saw that? I mean, obviously we didn't see the fall, but who was watching that night? I was.
I was not watching the pay-per-view. I found out about it the morning after. I was getting ready for school. Because I was, at the time, it happened in 99, summer. But yeah, I was getting ready for school. And my mom said she saw it on the news. And like being a kid, it's like, okay, no, like they did shit where like, Hawk fell off the Titantron, So I was as a time as a kid, I was thinking, yeah, it's some kind of elaborate angle that they did or whatever, maybe not thinking it quite in that term, but I was like, yeah, it's part of the show for sure. And then, turning on Raw then later that day and seeing it, it's like, oh boy, because at the time you don't really want to believe that actually had happened the way it happened. And, there was internet at the time, but it wasn't nearly as, how we have it now, where you can just instantly within 1 or 2 seconds just fucking look it up and know exactly what happened and the whens and wheres and hows and all that,
Right. Yeah. And like I said, I was actually watching that night. I was home. I was in my first apartment and I'm sitting there and we were, not going to lie, we were a little fucking drunk at the time.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. And I'm watching and finally, we heard he fell and I'm like, man, it's kind of weird there. And Jim Cornette said they were panning the crowd. They didn't pan the crowd. They took a wide shot and just left it there.
Yeah.
You just saw people just like, with their hands over their mouth, and you saw people reacting, and it was just so eerie. And then Jim Ross comes on and says what he says. Now, I do want to start off with saying a huge, gigantic, royal fuck you to Kevin Dunn. What a human fucking piece of garbage you are. He's dead and you're back in 10. Not what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I'll say this about Jim Ross. I mean, you talk about a professional's professional on that night, man. I wasn't watching live. I found out the same night because it was literally nationwide news. Like that was because it was weird because Over the Edge, even though wrestling was hot during that time period, that was just one of those pay-per-views that I didn't really see the need in ordering. Or like, hey, Mom, can I get this pay-per-view? I just, I didn't see the need. So I just kind of skipped that one. But as soon as it was on the news, like some wrestler fell or died at the show. And like to Smark's point, I'm thinking like, nah, it's probably elaborate because during that time period, everybody, was doing crazier shit. WWF was doing crazy shit. WCW was doing crazy shit. ECW was doing crazy shit. So you just assumed it was part of the show.
Right.
But then when it hit me, here in Philly, we got the Daily News. on the front page, and I wish I still had that paper, Death in the Ring. And it was that famous shot of like Owen, you know, basically laying dead in the middle of the ring with a bunch of people around him. You got Lawler standing right ringside, because I guess Lawler was like the first one that kind of was at ringside and tried his best to save his life to no avail.
Right.
And that's probably when it hit me. And then a buddy of mine had taped the show, and I watched that tape, man, and I was, man,
yeah. And you know, the people in the chat room are bringing up Vince. And you know what? Fuck Vince too, for not having the, you know, he sits there and talks like he's this big fucking man, but didn't have the balls to tell Martha that her husband was dead. We're hearing it on fucking television, and he goes, a doctor is going to call you soon. Fucking man up, dude. Man the fuck up. You want to talk about having fucking grapefruits? You got fucking peanuts.
And I want to, you know, shout out to Raider Dre in the chat. I'm right there with them, because talk about a tale of two Vinces, man. Because anybody that's been watching the Taker documentary series on the network, you see this, they paint this picture of how, you know, caring and how much reverence that the Undertaker has for Vince as a man, because that was a guy that put his faith in him and his trust in him, and he will go to his grave being loyal to that dude. And you see like the human side of Vince. You watch this documentary, you walk away looking at Vince like he's the biggest piece of shit walking the face of the earth. Like that fucking when they showed the clip of the press conference where that reporter, you know, and you can tell Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are cut from the same fucking cloth.
Oh, I was
you know,
thinking the same thing.
Come on, dude. Like, this woman asked a legitimate question. You know, why weren't better safety precautions put in place? And his first response is, "Lady, I don't appreciate your tone." Like what the fuck kind of a man laying dead in the ring? That's really Vince. I don't appreciate your goddamn tone on that, sir. Like, all due respect. That was a bad look, man. 20 some odd years later, man. And for anybody, I hope, you know, for all of the brain dead amongst the wrestling fan base, I hope this documentary puts a bow on this argument of why Owen will never, ever be in the Hall of Fame. It's not about money. I get it. You know, this guy basically is a wrestler. You know, he's primarily known for what he did in that company, but with how that company handled every step of the way, his passing and the aftermath and his family and how they were treated throughout the whole process, is there any wonder why they don't want his name associated with this company anymore? Is there any wonder? If you're an Owen Hart fan, look, go on YouTube, type in Owen Hart, support him that way. Go on Pro Wrestling Tees and buy a shirt where the donations, where every dime made goes to the Owen Hart Foundation. There are plenty of other ways to support Owen Hart if you are a true fan, other than him getting a shiny plaque with WWE all over it. Because I've said this time and time again, I don't think it was malicious. I don't think anybody planned for Owen to die that night. But when you look at the circumstances of why the Blue Blazer was brought back to begin with, it was out of spite. And that is the Owen Hart tragedy is the biggest fucking example of spite and pettiness and vindictiveness in that company coming back to bite them in the fucking ass. Yeah. Coming back to bite them in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
Oh, Owen, you don't want to do an angle with Deborah. Oh, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. It goes against your personal code of ethics. Okay, motherfucker. You know, we want to take a shot at you. We want to take a shot at your brother. We want to take a shot at Sting. So we're going to make you a blithering idiot. I'm sorry, I'm right there because I'm getting a little irritated. Jim Ross said it best at one point in that documentary. He was embarrassed. He was embarrassed by the fact that Owen Hart, you got this guy, all of this talent. You have a creative team making all this money and they can't find anything to do with him. The best thing they could do is to come up with an idea of a gimmick that he played 10 years ago that wasn't really that fucking over to begin with. All due respect.
No, it wasn't. And you know, I think OG, OG Hart, Owen's son, actually kind of put a nice little thing on it on why he'll never be in that Hall of Fame. I actually have the quote, if you don't mind, guys. His son said, "I would never let WWE put his name on a piece of silver and say they got that. We have built a foundation," I like how he used that word, "a foundation that helps put people in homes, that helps single moms like my mom was, that let kids go to school. This is all done in his namesake. This has all got Owen Hart written all over it. This is how communities, this is how people and society remembers him. And that is how we want it to be done. Yeah, he was a wrestler. But other than that, he was bigger than that. That's just a part of what he was." So there it is, man. He just, neither him nor Martha wants WWE to be able to just put that under their belt as we got another one.
Yeah, this is pussy you won't get, Vince. So fuck off. And I want to say something now, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to hog the mic on this one. It's just the more I think about this just irritates me to no end, because they had done business with, I guess, Things People at one point. Because six months or so before the pay-per-view where he passed away, if you notice, when he was doing the Blue Blazer deal and they lowered him, it would take him a while. Anybody that was a fan of, Nitro back in the day, when Sting would do those fucking death-defying leaps from the ceiling, it would take him a while. He would be fighting off motherfuckers still trapped in the harness, because it would be like, he was rigged up properly. Because if you're going to descend from 100 feet, you want to be rigged up fucking properly. When she shows the fucking, I call it a fucking paper clip that this dude was hanging from.
Pretty much,
I
man.
I want to fucking know how much money you motherfuckers saved. $1 billion company, my ass.
Dude,
I want to know how much money, seriously. Somebody, Antox, work your magic. I want to know, I want to fucking know how much this company really fucking saved.
Not enough. Or, I mean,
shit.
Wasn't worth it, no matter what they did. 6 pounds of pressure to open that clip. Do you realize how much 6 pounds, PSI, 6 pounds per square inch, do you realize how little that is right there? Seriously, that's like blowing out a candle, dude. It's like nothing. It's ridiculous. 6 pounds of fucking pressure to put that thing open. Absolutely unbelievable that they used that clip, man. And I got to tell you, real quick, I felt for a lot of people in the video, but I feel bad for D'Lo, man. And you could tell D'Lo was in the same thing that he talked about the draws thing in. I feel bad. That guy had to do that and then talk about this. What the hell did they put that poor guy through, man? D'Lo must have went home and drank for a week.
I would have, goddamn.
Jesus Christ. I mean, D'Lo must have gone home and drank for a week, man.
He was even saying that he really didn't like thinking about it or talking about it while he was talking about it. And, compare that to everything else that he gets asked and has to talk about. That says a lot.
Yeah, man. A lot of crazy shit going down. So I felt bad for D'Lo. Obviously you feel awful for Martha and the kids, but it's just, and throughout the video, almost everyone said the words, "It could have been avoided. It didn't have to happen." Avoidable. It was fucking avoidable. C-Mad says he wanted to legit give D'Lo a hug. I did too, man. I just wanted to give him a hug and say, "Brah, you're going to be all right."
That is his aesthetic too, though. D'Lo just kind of has like an uncle that's like the good uncle that like buys you the nice stuff for your birthdays.
Yeah.
D'Lo's the lovable uncle these days.
Honestly, I also feel, who I had a hard time kind of looking at, and I don't mean this in any type of fucked up way. Whenever JR would be on camera and he would because obviously JR was a part of that inner circle, so he knows some things. Mm-hmm. It's like the older JR gets and the more that he gives less of a fuck, the more he, obviously we talked about it with the AEW reviews, he gives less of a fuck every week.
Right.
He has the face of somebody that knows where knows where a lot of bodies are buried. And just getting into the specifics of like the Owen stuff, you could just tell, man. I would love to see like his complete interview, whenever they interview this dude. I would love to see the unedited portions because man, he seemed like he got into a lot of shit.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, at one point he said, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit people. Owen was basically given a bump in pay because of Montreal because we needed a Hart representation on the show.
Yep.
But basically, we were losing Brett. We gave less than a fuck about Bulldog and Anvil. They outlived their usefulness. We couldn't let Owen go. He wanted to stay, but at the same time, they said no. We couldn't lose a Hart. We needed to have some semblance of that family legacy represented in the company. So Owen basically got a bump. He basically got bribed to stay.
Yeah, pretty much. And and C-Matt even said Cornette. Dude, they had Cornette almost tearing up, bro.
Yeah, and that's actually, believe it or not, because I had heard how sad it was, and I, obviously know that it is, because estimate how sad it would be. That's what got me, surprisingly enough, because I have made it perfectly clear that I do not care for that gentleman that much, if at all. But it was just seeing him not be in total fucking shtick mode, being a caricature of himself, seeing him actually get emotional and get, so impacted by, even several, 2 decades after the fact, that got me. To see the way that his voice just kind of broke and he just looked like he was doing everything he could to keep it going.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I really liked this one. I thought it was. Look, I know there's probably a lot they left out, but I think what they put in here and the way it was put together, it was pretty good. I think it told more of a story of good guy Owen. And I'm glad they kind of did that. Yes, they got into why, a lot of the Martha Hart stuff, which, we really haven't heard a lot from her. So, and we hear nothing from his kids. So, but, I really think they focused more on what a good person Owen was. And on a dark side of the ring, I'm glad they didn't just completely dwell on everything else. But, yeah, man. That's what I thought. What do you guys think?
I thought it told, obviously very compelling story, in terms of, focusing on the good side of Owen. And really, I feel like my main takeaway from it was, why do so many scumbags live on forever and ever, but yet good guys are taken away too soon? By and large, to Smark's point about Cornette, that kind of speaks volumes about the kind of person Owen was, that Cornette actually has somebody that allows him to get that emotional and not in a negative way. You know what I mean? Just the impact of Owen as a person, and I feel like that's what's the most impressive thing about the guy. Because I can't sit up here and claim to be the biggest Owen Hart fan, and I grew to appreciate his work as I got older. But as a kid, it was just Owen's on, and I would go about my business. But just the older I got, and when I look back and I hear stories about the type of family man he was, the type of character, that's what got me. This is a guy who still should be around. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that, I feel like just him having his presence in a locker room does more to elevate the class of that locker room. Just the wisdom of how to be a decent person within the wrestling business, how to exist as a decent person within the wrestling business, because believe it or not, it is possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? I just thought of one other really shitty thing Vince did, and I know it was a lawyer move, but Vince could have fucking backed him off of it. When Martha sued him, WWF at the time, they had the trial. They were trying to get the trial moved to Connecticut because Connecticut doesn't have punitive damages, which means they would have saved a ton more money.
According to Martha, that was actually in their contracts. The wrestlers' contract, so you could not sue them outside of Connecticut.
She wasn't
This
the
was
wrestler.
from the
though.
Talk is Jericho podcast, by the way, so she didn't mention.
Oh no! I understand that, but wouldn't that have been if Owen sued them, not Martha? That would have been Owen's contract in Owen's name.
Yeah, I guess so, but I guess they were trying to say that she was doing it on his behalf, so it counted. It's a whole bunch of weird fucking loopholes and legalese that I'm not at all smart enough to comprehend, but I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs, but I mean, just one other shitty McMahon thing we can just, put on the fucking list of scummy McMahon things. Smart, I believe it was your turn. Go ahead, man.
There is so much to touch on that. Like, to kind of go back, I'm going to go back some. The idea of having the doctor call her really didn't seem like that fucked up of a move to me, because he did get in touch with her. And to give just a benefit of a doubt, and I'm not going to do very much of that because I do think that he's a piece of shit person. But I feel like maybe it was just that she could hear it from somebody who kind of understood the situation better than he did at the time. Maybe benefit of a doubt there. But like Anthony was saying, the whole press conference, the whole fucking indignation that he had, that, they were the ones literally, I guess they were, but, they were the ones on trial. People were trying to make them out to be the bad guys, this whole thing. And just the whole idea that someone would dare ask him a question that everybody was wondering. And like, cheers to the reporter lady too, because when he hit her with the, "I don't appreciate your tone, pal," her just fucking fired back with, "Well, I don't appreciate your sarcasm." And it's just like, you could just see that he just was not in a position like that very often where he couldn't just totally fucking flex on somebody. Because I feel like that was the same kind of confidence that he had. I feel like the confidence that he brought into that room was the same confidence that he had gotten when he had won that doping trial. Just like, I'm fucking untouchable. There's not shit you can do to me. And, the thing is like, I'm definitely glad that we got to hear from Martha, because for so long, you just didn't hear anything. And the narrative was kind of created because you weren't hearing anything from her. Like, I was hearing that basically it was just, she just wanted money. She wanted to completely ruin them. Like, the thing is to this day, she's a nurse. Like, she wasn't just looking for an easy payday so she could sit around for the rest of her life. She still is a nurse.
Right.
She runs a foundation. She used a good majority of that money that she got from the settlement that they ended up having to start the foundation, the charity.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't just looking to, take them for everything that they had. She wanted to ruin them in like kind of an act of vengeance, but it's really kind of hard to blame her for that, because for the longest time, it was just made to seem like it was just this terrible accident that, could have happened to anyone, anytime, for any reason. That's not the case. There was negligence. And and if you think about it, think about the pros and cons of what could have happened with that whole incident. Is what you would have gotten if everything would have went smoothly, was it worth what ended up happening, or what you were risking if it wouldn't have went right, which it didn't? If everything went perfectly, you just have somebody just floating around the arena looking like a fucking idiot. Who's going to remember this years later? You know what I mean? It's nothing. It does not add to his character, the show, anything that was going on in any tangible, important value.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. And, that's just the whole thing. And then I don't blame them at all for not wanting to deal with them moving forward, because that's what WWE does, is they want to control the narrative on everything, on wrestling as a whole. What went on, who was a big star, and what companies were important. I didn't know until I was almost a fucking adult that Legion of Doom wrestled anywhere else, because they didn't want you to know that. And if they don't want you to know something, unless you make it an effort to look elsewhere, you don't know it.
Right.
So yeah, they want to control. Owen Hart's family wants to control the narrative because it's their husband, their dad. That whole situation. And I wouldn't blame them for not wanting them to make money on his behalf, because fucking they still went ahead and released that DVD. You guys can remember this. When I used to call into the old THC show, I constantly, when they were talking about making the DVD, I was constantly bitching about it because I thought it was really fucked up on their behalf to go against the best wishes of his wife and family and still release it so they can make an extra couple bucks. Like, it's just fucking terrible.
And I'm actually glad you brought that up, Smart. As far as family, because when you hear about how the Owens death essentially divided the family, so you had two camps. You had the camp of, to me, common sense, like, hey, our brother passed away, we want justice, and you had the other side going like, oh shit, we might need a job one day, because apparently there was some sabotage behind the scenes. Because one of the primary reasons that WWE was able to essentially get away with murder on this one is because you had Hart family members basically trading, basically giving away Martha's secrets in terms of her legal defense.
Yep.
And that's one thing I wish that the documentary, this really should have been a two-parter, because that's something they should have really kind of touched on. I mean, that's something they really, instead of like, they kind of glossed over it, but that's something that, I really would have liked them to have dug a little deeper into.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to lie. There are parts of this little thing where Martha does come off as a woman out for revenge. Who the fuck can blame her, man? Look, all the shit she found out about the crew was barely fucking trained, that fucking rigged him. They used the wrong clip. No one had experience in doing it. Just everything I can see why she just got more and more pissed off. Avoidable. It didn't have to happen. Just like they said throughout the fucking whole video. Just like they kept saying, it was avoidable. Yeah, I can see her being pissed off and out for fucking revenge. Absolutely. She should be like a fucking Seagal movie after these motherfuckers. Anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, it speaks volumes when you have people that are out of that bubble that can speak a little freely. When you hear JR saying like that day, he could just tell something was off about Owen. He wasn't himself. Like, he didn't feel comfortable, like, doing, he had done it before, but something about that day, he just was like off.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, he knew. And I don't give a fuck what that company says. There's unspoken intimidation in that company.
Oh yeah.
Now, you would think that Owen, he's a veteran, he's been around a few years, he's been around like over a decade at that point. He would have a little more cachet than others. But no, if they'll find slick ways to fucking bully you. And I guess he had got to that point where he had told them no too many times, and it was just like, if I say no again, it's going to be a bunch of grief.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, man, where I feel like just take a step back and look at this entire season of Dark Side of the Ring. And look, this isn't earth-shattering news. We've always knew that Vince was a scumbag in a lot of ways, right? But this season really shines a light on scumbag behavior to the nth degree. When you look at the Snooker cover-up, you look at this episode, you look at, the Benoit shit. I mean, it's just, man.
Yeah, man, a lot of shady shit going on. But you know what? I do want to mention before we do move on. We don't have to move on yet. I'm just saying I don't want to forget to mention Jimmy Corderas, the referee that day. You got to. And by the way, we mentioned Jim Cornette tearing up, but we didn't mention why. It's because on Owen's way down, he thought to say, look out, because he was about to hit Jimmy Corderas. Now, Jimmy Corderas didn't hear it, but people did. Just amazing. And Jimmy Corderas, you can hear him. I think he might even have a podcast. I know he had one with on the Law when it was Live Audio Wrestling before it got bought out by Fightful, I believe. And I think he might have his own podcast though, Jimmy Corderas. But man, great right there. Now, you know what? I also, you never hear from anyone who was there at that arena that night. You ever notice that?
Thank you for mentioning that. I don't have a whole long screen to go on about that, but that's definitely been one of the things that I've noticed is there's no witness accounts.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to remember during that time period, which once again, money hungry bastards. Outside of the announcement they made to the television audience, the crowd wasn't informed of what happened. So, and remember, social media wasn't a thing back then. The internet was still like in the infancy stage as a thing. So you still actually had to seek out news. So a lot of people didn't find out Owen was dead until they got home that night. Yeah, and a lot of people like in the building, you'll hear, oh, they just thought it was like a dummy falling from the ceiling.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man, if I was Vice, I would have fucking put a fucking thing out there. Was anyone in that arena that night? Please call me, please. But
I mean, I guess that's hard to verify because even if you can show a ticket stub, what kind of indicates that you didn't just buy it off eBay or wherever. Yeah. But like what I'm saying, even more outside of why didn't they interview anybody on the documentary? Like, I have been active in some form or fashion, not to fucking tap myself in the back, but I've been active some form or fashion on like wrestling message boards and Facebook groups and chat rooms and all kinds of shit since like 2002, and I have never encountered anybody that was there.
Nope.
And like there was several, there was what, 15, 16,000 people or whatever. I mean, there was a large number of people there and you just never hear anything from any of them, even just like online.
You ever think Vince just went out there and just told them all, any of you talking, you're dead. That's right, you're all dead. I'm sending Kevin Sullivan for you.
now one aspect... That was actually a good one. Oh,
thank you. No one's here, so I can, kind of do what I want.
One aspect that I did want to get into, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion on, is an aspect that a lot of people don't really talk about. At least I've never seen it discussed a whole lot of places. The debate about, should the show have gone on? Should it have been stopped? Right?
Yes.
And all of this heat with Vince. Here's my question to you guys: Are you guys as flabbergasted and as irritated at Kansas City PD? Because to me, a lot of blame, a lot of the heat should be put on the police department that night. Because when you have a motherfucker fall to his death in the middle of the ring, they should not have left it in Vince's hands to make that call. The show should have been stopped fucking immediately. Well, that ring was a fucking crime scene.
Crime scene, thank you. That's what I was thinking.
How the fuck did that show continue?
I don't know.
Like seriously, fuck Vince. Where were the cops at? Motherfucker, we don't care who you are. We're shutting this shit down.
And when Martha said, that they fought, they were wrestling in the same ring that had Owen's blood, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh,
and the boards were like displaced and shit. Like the ring was altered.
Yeah, he broke boards in the ring when he fell. Did he? That was a good. I think they were saying it was 100 feet. I might have been. I don't know how tall those buildings are. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could look up and get the dimensions of the building, but fuck that shit, man. I mean, why? How? I just... I don't know. And real quick, just to do the whole should it have been, should it not have been, I understand it's show business. The show must go on. But that was the wrong time to do that. I don't care. What were you afraid? You were going to have to refund people fucking money? Really? Is that what you're worried about at this point? But I mean, yeah, me personally, that shit would have not gone on right there. I would have been like, that's it. Ain't nobody else going to work tonight. How can anyone be expected to go out there and fucking put on a great show after something like that just happened? And I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying. We're actually in about an hour or so, at least my time. We're going to be on the 21st anniversary of this whole thing happening with Owen.
Wow.
I'm going to say this, and you can mark it down. I don't say a lot of kind things about One Double J, but I have a copy of that Over the Edge pay-per-view that I watched a grand total of like one time, because that's not a show that I go back to relive. It's not a show I have fond memory obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll always remember right after the incident with Owen Hart, you had motherfuckers, and Jeff Jarrett was one of them. You had these guys trying to cut promos, and they're obviously shook up. The first thing this dude says, Owen, we praying for you. Before he gets into his, you got him and Deborah crying. You got Road Dogg crying. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about, Owen. First off, unless you can verify, unless you have video proof of Owen on camera saying the show should have gone on, he would want the show to go on in the event of his untimely demise. I hate when people say that shit because you don't fucking know. You don't fucking know. And I just think it's in poor taste to have motherfuckers crying like that. And you just saying, go out to the ring. Like that to me, that mentally, that would fuck me up, dude. I don't know about y'all. That would just fuck me up, having to cut a promo, go into the ring where my best friend died, because as much as I can talk shit about Jeff, when he talks about Owen, they were legitimately tight. That's been verified and confirmed.
Right.
So it hit him hard. So I just don't get it. Like, why would you even want to film something like that?
Yeah, and oh my God, my family is home. They weren't supposed to be home tonight, but my family is home. And you guys keep going. Give me 1 minute here.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, to further emphasize your point, like, even outside of just the whole, not wanting to be, they shouldn't want to make them continue to, do promos. Everyone on that show that went on after that was affected, obviously, in some way. And, like, the idea to, like, ask them to compete when they're that distraught and they're in charge of making sure that themselves and the people that they're in the ring with stay healthy, you're potentially risking another, nowhere near significant, but you're potentially risking more injuries that way. Because, people aren't going to be completely focused on what it is that they have to do. And like we were talking about with the whole D'Lo Draws thing, it really only takes one tiny little mistake for something very bad to happen. So, like, you're kind of running an extra risk of further putting other people on your roster in peril, in my opinion. And, like, and another thing to that whole point of whether or not they should have went on with that show, that was segment 6 of 11 segments, 11 matches. Like, more than half the show had already happened. Like, it wasn't like it was the first match and you were worried that there was going to be some kind of fucking riot if you didn't do your show. You just didn't want to give people refunds. You wanted to be stingy. You wanted to push on. It was just further, foolhardy ignorance, just a total lack of regard for the people that you actually have sending out there to perform, versus your actual bottom line, which you're making just perfectly clear that you care more about.
And let's be clear. I mean, this was, all due respect, this wasn't a fucking WrestleMania card. This wasn't like, it was a fucking B show during the height of the Attitude Era, which they were making money hand over fist. Whatever money, first off, you can't put a price on a life loss. You can't put any type of price tag on that. So whatever money monetarily they would have lost that night, who gives a fuck? But morally, it was the right thing to shut that show down, because just think about it. Just think about how many people that died that night with kids that were probably traumatized by that whole situation.
Oh yeah. Sure. Oh yeah, and
for a variety of reasons, that show should have been like stopped and just stricken from the record. The fact that you can still access that show is a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, and sorry about that, guys. My family was supposed to come home tomorrow afternoon. They just surprised the shit out of me. So,
everybody all right?
Yeah, they just wanted to surprise me. My boys wanted to come home tonight, so they came home. That was pretty nice. Oh. Happy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So look, this story has a good outcome, I guess. Well, for me, that's about it. But
I have one more question, and this I know this is a straight up tinfoil hat so I'm going to put mine on, and I encourage you to put yours on as well. Do you think at all that it was a little bit of a dig? Because they kept saying, like, they played the press conference, or not really a press conference, I think it was more of just her eulogy for Owen, where she was saying that they're going to face a day of reckoning. That was like the big thing that, they made sure to emphasize during that show. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it was at all a dig that a couple years later they came out with a game called Day of Reckoning? Like, I know that just conspiracy theory, but did you really put it past them to be that petty?
Well, not at all. Not at all.
No, they probably were like, that's a great name for a show. Mark that down. Mark that down.
As she's saying it, they're fucking copyrighting it.
Probably. they been just copyright that. Yeah. Reckoning. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and like I said, this company, fuck them forever and a day. I hope, Owen's family, and when I say his family, I mean, his real family, his wife and his children, they have some type of paperwork in place, because along those same lines of being petty, it would not surprise me in the least. It would not surprise me in the least. And it's a fucked up thing to say, but yeah, we've already crossed that threshold many times over many years in many episodes. But,
yeah.
Would it surprise anybody if on the day, Martha, passed away, God forbid, sometimes with the kids, the first thing they do the following year, Owen's going in the Hall of Fame. Going in the Hall of Fame, ticker tape parade, the whole bit. T-shirts, DVD, people have testimonials after the ads on TV, the whole bit.
I think there would have to be a lot to go down. I mean, both, obviously the son isn't going to allow it. The daughter probably won't allow it. I don't think it would happen. I don't think so, man.
And the son he's actually passed law school, I believe she was saying. So he's a lawyer. And boy, I mean, I'm sure that they can probably afford the best possible lawyers, but I don't know. I wouldn't want the amount of energy and just passion that he could dedicate to fucking fighting them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that.
Yeah, that's that's motivation right there, man. I mean, so yeah, I don't think so. And holy shit, would that be a fucking scumbag move? Which I don't ever put past them, by the way. But it would be scummy. But I don't know, man. I think we dug pretty much as deep as we can into that. I don't really have much more. You guys? No.
It's just sad to think about, because, like, first off, more than anything, especially, he was talking about the end of that, documentary of just Ode saying that the time that he did get to have was really great and he loved it and cherished it, but just that it ended so quickly and that he never really got to experience a lot of the things that, most normal sons would get to experience with their dad. And, like, I know it is the very, 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 very bottom rung of things to consider and be sad about, but just imagine how different things could have been if it ended differently. Like, they were talking about all the people that came into WWF, like, within about a year of that happening, Eddie and, Malenko and all that shit, of, like, the matches that he could have had and the sort of career renaissance that he could have had. And then even if, he would have been able to retire when he was 40 like he wanted to, the possibility that, his kids are in their 20s now, like, he might have been able to see them follow in the footsteps. That's not what he wanted, if you go based on what Martha was saying, but he never wanted to get into business anyway, according to Martha. Again, it's just he did it to kind of help Stu out because Stampede was suffering at the time, and then next thing you know, you got yourself a career. It's not impossible that something like that could have happened with one of the kids. It's just so many things are going to forever change because of that, and it's just a very sad thing to think about and just kind of wonder how much better things could have been. And also, just a by the by, if anybody wants to watch some stuff from him outside of the whole WWE umbrella, I would highly recommend. There's a match on YouTube you could very easily find of him versus Liger in Japan, and because of some of the people that he had to work with in WWF, it's easy to forget just how bad of a motherfucker he was in the ring. But he moved lightning quick. It was something else to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And yeah, Shaheen brings up there was one little point in there where Owen, I think it was on video, he called wrestling trash. I did catch that too. I did.
Oh, and it's like, it's weird because do you think that he was just like where it was going? Because like to Smark's point, 99, when you look back, 1999 WWF, with a few exceptions, does not age well.
It was trash TV. It was emulating Jerry Springer. Well. Yeah.
And honestly, like it was one of those deals where in the moment it was cool, it was funny, it was cutting edge, but when you look back on it, does not age well. The show actually improved post Russo going into like that 2000, 2001 era, where they were still like cutting edge, but they kind of like were streamlined, mainly because they had more. There was more of a balance. Mm-hmm. Well, because once like the Radicals, once you had guys like Benoit and Guerrero and Malenko come over, you basically had more of a traditional aspect to counteract the fucking middle fingers and all of that other shit. Because for 99, it was just like a whole lot of crazy shit with very little traditional wrestling to kind of balance things out. And I feel like Owen would have fit like a glove in that era. If anything, I feel like he probably would have been reinvigorated. Because for all of the talk about, and Owen was great in the ring for sure, but go back and look at like his last year or so in the company. You could tell like he was just kind of phoning it in, man. Like he would give you he would give you kind of like little nuggets of greatness from time to time, but just visually, just facially, you could just tell his heart really wasn't into it anymore.
He is not a nugget.
Enough is enough, Anthony.
I know, Anthony. And it's
time for a change.
Damn right it is.
And I gotta correct Smark on one thing. We gotta put some respect.
How dare you? We'll fight at dawn, sir.
We gotta put a little bit of respect on Martha's name. She's not a nurse. She actually has a PhD.
That's right, doctor.
Yes.
Doctor. All right.
Social development and psychology.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's a pretty fucking smart family right there. Anyway.
Daughter's a journalist.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's college. She was even saying that Owen went to college too. He just didn't finish it up because he was kind of just a little bit more focused on wrestling at the time. But everybody college educated across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Now, Dark Side of the Ring put out a little bonus scene from this little season finale, the Owen Hart episode here. And this is friends and family and, Cornette and everyone talking about the notorious ribs Owen used to play on people. So here we go. It's 4 minutes long, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. Anyway, it looks like the wife is changing the baby, so perfect timing. Here we go.
In wrestling is a practical joke. Owen found his ribs out of nature. For example, he was great on the telephone. He would call one of the wrestlers in the middle of the night at a hotel and impersonate the front desk person.
You get a call, someone claiming to be from the front desk saying my credit card was declined.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in bed. I've already paid for this room. No, sir, we're going to call the police.
So I go, okay. So I head down to the front desk.
The wrestler would end up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, pounding on the front desk, screaming at the guy who had no idea what was going on because Owen's the one that called him. You may get mad for a second, but then you had to realize it's Owen and it's funny.
I got the frank phone calls too. You could call him and take his dad. Owen's broke his leg skiing. I didn't know. I thought it was Stu calling him the bad news. And then, of course, Owen started laughing.
He was pixie-ish. He had the gleam in his eye. And he was pulling pranks or winding people up.
So Dad was interested in getting pizza. So he calls a number and he puts in the order. About 30 minutes later, his friend walks in the door and he says, "Hey, we should get a pizza." And he's like, yeah, we should get a pizza. So he pretends to phone again and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get the, short thin crust pepperoni pizza with extra this and that." And then, of course, the pizza shows up a minute and a half later and the guy's like, "Fuck, did you cook that in your car?" Yeah, that was a practical joke. I mean, he was the king when it came to actual, humorous things.
One time we were jogging and there was this big group of runners just passing us, and Owen was just a little bit ahead of me, and then just as they were passing us, he looked back and he yelled and he's like, "Will you quit chasing me? I told you I don't want to go out with you." And I was just like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
Many years ago, there was a hog pen match. So we're at the arena, and they had just delivered these pigs to the arena. And the guy from the truck says, so where would you like these pigs? And Owen's like, oh, follow me. I'll show you where to get them. And they escort the pigs into Vince's office. Vince walks into his office. I don't know what's going on in there. Like 3 seconds later, Vince comes out of the office yelling, Owen!
If we were doing interviews, I'd have Davey Boy Smith on one side, Owen Hart on the other side. While I'm talking, Owen would reach down and he'd shoot me in the crotch with the water bottle, where on camera it looked like I'd pissed my pants. I don't know this because I'm looking at the camera. He would find things in nature that he could mess with people about. And he was a prankster. And it was funny and it was fun. It wasn't destructive with Owen.
I remember having a match where it's me and Owen, and I'm particularly stiff. And Owen's going, calm down, kid, calm down. I'm like, I'm just nervous for some reason, I don't know why. So Owen just starts wrestling me, just putting me in and out of holds. Puts chin lock on me and goes, look down at your boot. Look down, my boot's unlaced. How'd that happen? So, go forward, wrestle around again, snap mare, chin lock. Look at your other boot. My other boot's unlaced. How did this? I know I laced my boots. This never happens to me. Tuck my boot laces back down again. Wrestle. Snap mare. Puts me in a headlock again. I look, my boot, nothing. He goes, look at the referee. Look at the referee. The referee's shoe's untied. When I look at the referee's shoe, I started giggling. And he goes, are you relaxed now? Because now let's go wrestle. And at that point, he could rib you. He could love you. He could play a joke on you all at the same time in front of 20,000 people and no one would ever know it. That's how good he was.
There you go.
Box.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll indulge me, sir, it's not too terribly long, but I actually sent you something on Facebook. That is my absolute favorite fucking Owen Hart moment.
All right, hold on here. Let me get this here.
It's a minute 40.
All right, here we go. Give me 1 sec here. I'm waiting for the ad to stop. I will hit skip, and here we go.
Yo, Adrian! I did it! Have a nice day!
Yo, Adrian, I did it. Blue screw, McMahon. The stork that brought his kid got arrested for carrying dope. He truly deserved that award. Crazier than you, McMahon. Mankind, very proud to be a Slammy Award winner.
Our next presenter is the
Wait a minute, what's this?
Owen Hart, Slammy Award winner.
Woo! I did it again! And you know what?
No, you're presenting this. You gotta be thankful, man. Owen spent a whole year of his life promoting this crummy show.
I did it again!
Yes!
And I have nobody to thank. Once again, I did it all by my sweet little self. 2-time Slammy Award winner. I knew it. I'm a winner. I did it. Woo! Hey, Bulldog, you may have 2 titles, but you don't have 2 Slammies.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, Vader and Mankind, this Sunday at WrestleMania, you're going to be in for the fight of your life because the Bulldog and myself, we haven't been better ever. And we're going to beat you and Mankind. And you know what, Vader? You don't have 2 Slammies like I do because you're losers and we're winners. Me and my Slammies.
Oh, jeez. Crazy Owen.
Yeah, honestly, man, just the gleam in his eye, man. Like, you just, I feel like that little segment, by the way, that was from the 97 Slammy Awards. I just really feel like that little segment sums up a lot of what made Owen special.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. Most definitely. All right. Any more on that, or should we go ahead and roll on a little bit, boys? What do you guys want to get into next here?
Oh, can we can you allow me to digress for a minute, Box? Because
okay,
I want to take you back a couple days because you actually shared this on the Facebook, and I've actually seen this from this gentleman multiple times, and I want to get you guys' opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
One, Christopher Cruz. Now, I don't know if he's trolling. I don't know if he's just a miserable prick. But whenever somebody shows the slightest bit of, emotion when somebody passes away, he'll has rants about, okay, time to get out the waterworks, time to post pictures and remembrances of people you don't really know, you didn't really care about, but hey, you want to get those likes on your Facebook post. I don't know, man. Just the more I see this guy's post, the more I'm thinking, like, what a miserable motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
A miserable human. Once again, I don't know if he's just a professional troll fucking with people, but even if he is, if somebody wants to take time out of their day to post up something, a little, rest in peace, or hey, a reminder when they meant so and so, who gives a fuck? Is it what concern of it? What concern is it to you? Like, I mean, is it really hurting your day? Is it really hurting your existence on this earth that somebody wants to dedicate time out of their life to say, hey, condolences to so and so's family? So and so had a song that affected me and impacted me in my life. Like,
that's a guy who hates himself and wants everyone else to be miserable too. Listen, this is the same guy that fucking called the cops or whoever on AEW and made him get a fine in Maryland, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm not lying.
Although he'll claim to his dying day that when he was about to put the claim in, the State Athletic Commission had basically told him they were already intending to investigate AEW that night. So,
yeah.
I guess we're splitting hairs on that situation.
Oh, are we? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Not splitting my fucking hairs over it. But yeah, this guy just doesn't fucking like himself, trying everything he can to stay relevant. And you know what? He did that right after Shad died, which really is what kind of, I saw that. I saw it. It kind of did piss me off because he's like, oh yeah, let's bring up every time a wrestler dies, let's post a picture of us with our arm around him and try to get fucking likes. And they're not trying to make any money off of it. They're just posting that they met him. Hey, he was a great guy. From all accounts, we heard the same thing from every other motherfucker out there. He was a nice guy, Shad Gaspard. So why be the dick? Let Jim Cornette do it. It's much better when Cornette does it. Trust me.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, look, it's times to be a dick. It's times to have fun, but it's times to take a step back and be a fucking human being and not concern yourself. Like I said, who gives a fuck how somebody chooses to dedicate time? And to me, it says more about you as a human being that you feel the need to downplay and shit talk people for just wanting to give their condolences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously. The shit, like I said, normally, because he's done this numerous times, and normally I just kind of like let it slide. But, the Shad thing, I'm like, I had to I had to speak on it because to me, it has nothing to do with anything other than it was a tragic situation. And to me, unless you're a soulless piece of shit, why wouldn't you, that affected you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when things affect you, you have to speak on it. You have to put it out there. I don't give a fuck who likes what I post. It's just a matter of something was weighing on my conscience, weighing on my heart that I felt the need to post something. And I'm not saying me and John, I'm just saying anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, like anybody that read that story is like, that touched them. That fucking touched them. Last word, save my son. And especially if you're a parent, that shit is going to hit different for you.
Yeah, you know what? I say fuck that guy and let's fucking never mention him again because he doesn't deserve a fucking second on this fucking show. How's that?
For sure.
Yeah, I say that. All right then. All right, should we? You guys want to go ahead and knock out NXT? Because I mean, honestly, I've only got one or two things to mention about NXT, and that's really it. But you know what? Before we get into NXT, why don't we do this, guys? The ratings for this week. NXT fucking down the toilet. AEW 701,000. Nice number, not bad, not great, but good for AEW about what they've been getting. NXT 592,000, below 600. Guys, does this kind of prove what we've been saying, that even having the wrestlers around the ring screaming and yelling actually makes a huge difference? Or is it the fact that you can watch NXT on a bunch of different mediums like Hulu and the network really killing it right now?
I think that's part of it. Mm-hmm. But I also think that it comes down to, and I feel like when all is said and done with the COVID-19 era of wrestling shows, I feel like AEW at the end of the day deserves a shit ton of credit, because with nowhere near the resources that WWE has, with nowhere near the connections, they found a way to make wrestling entertaining during a not so good time. Mm-hmm. And like I said, has every show been perfect? No. But it seems like a lot more thought and care was put into not only the shows, but the circumstances that we're currently going through. And one thing that I don't really bring up a lot on Wednesdays, but I do want to bring it up here since we're talking about it, is the fact that I feel like AEW in a lot of ways, because they're actually addressing the elephant in the room, that's a big part of the reason why I feel like they consistently win the ratings. Because you don't feel like your intelligence is being insulted.
Yes.
Like, you don't feel like you're an idiot. I mean, like WWE, whether it's Raw, whether it's SmackDown, whether it's NXT, they basically are doing these shows business as usual. Mm-hmm. I harp on it because it's fucking stupid to have these people come out week after week after week and play to an empty building. Like this is how you know they have these people conditioned to be fucking robots. You look like a fucking idiot getting on the ropes posing for people that aren't there. I mean, put it to you like this: it works if you're dealing with R-Truth, right? His character, because his character is portrayed to be an idiot. But when you have like fucking Edge or fucking Orton coming out doing the arm gimmick, and it's like, who are these motherfuckers playing to? At least Drew, when he cuts his promos, looks at the camera.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like he's the only one that doesn't come across as an idiot throughout this whole entire process.
Right. Yeah, Smart. I see you pop back on there. Must have something to say about this.
I mean, not too much that we haven't really already covered about this topic, but yeah, I mean, it feels significantly different watching what AEW is doing versus watching what WWE is doing, or specifically NXT. There was a grace period, the first week, 2-3 weeks, maybe even the first month, but like there has been plenty of time to figure out how it is that you want to present your product within the parameters that you have to work with. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't seem like they're doing really much of anything to try to capitalize on that. It doesn't seem like they've really done anything at all to sort of innovate or to sort of do anything different from stage. It seems like they're just like straight up plugging their fingers in their ears and just rushing forward.
Yeah, exactly. They don't mention anything. They don't, I mean, even AEW, Jim Ross is saying, this virus out there, this is going on, we have a pandemic. They're actually talking about it. Everybody else, it seems like WWE and NXT, it just seems like they're trying to just not even bring up that anything's going on. Oh, that's no big deal. We decided we don't want crowds anymore. Yeah, that was our decision. Yeah, right? That was us, right? Yeah.
I mean, I guess to Shane's point, in terms of like what I meant by more people tuning in to AEW because they're acknowledging COVID, I more so mean that they're not treating you like an idiot. They're basically addressing the elephant in the room, and they're booking the shows accordingly. I feel like AEW's basically, they've improved upon their storylines, and with the limited roster, they've actually done more with less than WWE has. And I feel like with WWE, you feel like I don't know, it's getting to the point with like watching Raw, like outside of watching it for the sake of the show, it's uncomfortable. And I feel like the ratings reflect that. I feel like when people watch Raw or SmackDown, part of the reason why the ratings are in the shitter is because it's uncomfortable to watch. It's basically, you feel like you're watching guys rehearse their matches as opposed to actually have wrestling matches. When you watch AEW, they acknowledge what's going on, but also they book the shows accordingly. They try to give you as close to a normal wrestling experience as possible.
Right.
Without treating you like an idiot.
Yeah, and you know what? Plain and simple, they're just doing a better job. And no, I don't think the only reason people, oh, look, they're mentioning COVID, let's tune in. No. But they're not, just like Anthony said, they're not insulting your intelligence, at least. They're not trying to completely ignore another thing Anthony said, the elephant in the room. And it's just, they're just not treating us like fucking idiots. We know shit is wrong out there. We do. Obviously, we're all fucking going through it. They're at least acknowledging and trying to say, hey, we're going through it too. WWE's like, nah, man, we decided no crowds. That's it. No, that was us. That was us. We did that. That was us. Nah, fuck the crowd. We don't need them. But, no, go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying, do you think that another reason why they might be winning, and I guess this is something like you guys, you and Smart in particular brought up, is different? It's just something different from the norm. Like, even if you look at a segment of AEW from week to week and you're like, I'm not really feeling that, they at least try it. Mm-hmm. They at least try new things. And you feel like you're watching something that has some momentum behind it because they experiment with some things. If it don't work this week, they'll adjust next week. Whereas with WWE, sometimes if something don't work one week, you'll get 6 months of it until you like it, or until you just throw your hands up and go, yeah, fuck it. If you want me to like it, I'll like it.
Pretty much. So, but all right, you guys want to jump into NXT? Like I said, I don't really have a lot to talk about on NXT, guys. That Karrion Kross entrance, when there's people back in the fucking arenas, man, that is going to be fucking amazing to hear a crowd with that. And you know, that is Scarlett singing that song, by the way. I did check. I did look into who was singing that. It is her. So, you know, the fact that she's lip syncing it doesn't really, you know, my God, does she look good? She's a fucking 10. But Karrion Kross went up against Liam Gray. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know if he's a jobber or a low NXT guy, but he killed this guy in like 2 minutes. But that entrance, man, I don't know if you guys agree, but when there's a crowd, that entrance right there is going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It's a cool entrance. It's like I said, or like you just said, the presentation of it is fucking fantastic. Once you get a crowd in the building, it's going to come off even better. I think they're doing right by this dude. Now, this is how you book a squash effectively,
right?
With a new character. You know what I mean? Like I said, when he killed this dude, treated him like a piece of fucking meat, as he should have been. I mean, all due respect to this Liam kid, he might have a bright future, but it wasn't his time. When you have a monster like this, it's imperative that he just kill people.
Yeah.
For at least the first month or so of his appearances. Well, so yeah, I had no problems with the presentation at all. It was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah. Smart, what do you think when the crowd comes back? Is that going to be more amazing than it already is, or what, man?
Absolutely, because I mean, it's just the anticipation is going to be so built up for it. I mean, that is to say, we don't know when the crowd's going to be back, and that is in good faith that they don't somehow find a way to fuck him up. I don't think that they will, but it's important to just keep that in the back of your mind.
It could happen.
Always be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, it could happen. And then Ciampa came out and cut a little promo on him. So they are throwing Karrion Kross right into the main event scene. Good little promo by Ciampa. I like Ciampa on the mic. He just comes off like a really tough grandfather. It's the beard, man.
That aesthetic, because he seems kind of like somebody that would be like in like an old Western movie or some type of shit like that.
He just comes off like a really tough. His kids had kids when they were young, and he's a real strong, tough grandpa. It's the beard, man. It's just the beard. But I do like him on the mic. He is good. You know what? You guys want to play a little bit of this? What the hell, right? It's Friday. Yeah. It's Friday. I've already had about 9 shots. Let's do it.
We can do this.
Fucking ads. Hold on. We have 10 seconds till we can play this. We have to watch Sheamus in a fucking cricket commercial first. Holy shit. Okay. Oh, my God. All right, stop, please. Oh, my eyes.
Allow me to officially introduce myself. My name is Tommaso Ciampa, and that ring you're standing in, all of this is my home. You already knew that, didn't you? That's why you attacked the main attraction, to make a point. I get it. Hell, part of me kind of respects it. Just standing out here in your presence, that aura, it's special. 6'4", 265 pounds, special. In a locker room full of the absolute best professional wrestlers in the world, you stand out. Special. That entrance, a killer entrance, special. But you know who else is special? Me. And that's why I had to come out here and look you in the eyes and let you know on June 7th at TakeOver, it's going to be Ciampa versus Cross. Now that's special. Welcome to the main event.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better with a crowd, man. But good shit. You know what I love about Ciampa? He always puts over the talent backstage. Always, always, always. Always puts over how NXT has the best talent in the world. And you know what? For some reason, I just like that. I like that about him. That makes a big difference, man. It just, I don't know. I mean, I know it shows respect, but I like that.
No, I mean, honestly, it goes back to what used to be like a tenement. It used to be like a stalwart of pro wrestling. Just common sense. You build the guy up, so when you beat him, it means something. Mm-hmm. As opposed to tearing them down, because then if you beat a piece of shit, it's like, hey, you just beat a piece of shit. You want to beat the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the block. So it makes sense to build up your opponent as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Let's get But I mean, that's really all I got on that. Good shit right there. Tozawa and El Hijo de Fantasma. Hey, who's trying to kidnap all these motherfuckers, huh?
I'm not going to mention Tozawa anymore. Not for anything he did personally. I mean, but what's the point? Good match, but then it's just like he'll be on Raw jobbing out again. So it's like, why even invest? What's the fucking point? He wrestled for like 15 minutes. It was a good match, solid. But then it's just like it'll be undone on Raw. He'll lose to Bobby Lashley in like a minute 50 seconds. So what's the point? Yeah, but Tozawa happened. Next segment.
Yeah, but he's not getting kidnapped on Raw. Who's tried to kidnap this man? Smart, tell me.
Trump's people.
Is his visa up?
That would be a pretty great angle if somebody just randomly started targeting all the luchadors.
I mean, is his visa up? I'm
like,
just...
damn it, Lashley, what are you up to?
I don't know. Somebody sent Trump a Raw segment. Oh, we got to get that motherfucker. Next thing you know, a mysterious van pulls up. Tozawa, you the motherfucker that caused this shit.
You got to build that steel cage to keep the luchadors up.
Here's your lucha mask of the best, beautiful, most gorgeous lucha mask I've ever seen in my life. Here you go, guys. Go ahead and go get him. Go get him. Okay. Oh, geez. Okay, I guess we can skip that. We don't know who that is. We got you know what? I'll mention this too. Once again, good shit from Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. I forget. I think it was
Mia.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to remember who it was in the chat room that called them Disney villains. But
I think it was Antox.
I think it might have been, but I'm not sure it was actually. I think it might have been. I don't know. Maybe we got the usual chat room, so hopefully someone can take credit for that, please.
It was either Antox or Sasha Baron Corbin.
One of those two. Sasha's not in here, but Antox, of course, always in here like a loyal gentleman he is. But yes, okay, it was Antox, and there we go. Antox, take credit. So I'm right. Anyway. It's exactly, look, they came down with the bright shoes. They are exactly that. They are 100% Disney villains. I cannot deny it. It is perfect. It is the best way to describe them. Antox, great comparison because that's 100% what they are. They just come down. You know a little bit who they remind me of, Anthony?
Who's that?
Hudson Hawk. Sandra Bernhardt and the other guy, just the villains in the movie.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I know you're talking about. I can't think of the gentleman.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either. But that's who they kind of remind me of. But they are completely Disney villains, man. I mean, but they're really doing it great. I like it. But Mia Yim, Mia Yum. Yeah, I do like what they're doing. And Keith Lee tonight Wednesday came out to make the save.
Yeah, so I feel like we're gonna get a mixed tag first before they split off into the individual feuds with Lee and Gargano and Candice LeRae and Mia Yim.
Yeah, I feel like eventually NXT is just going to turn into like a couples show, and it's just going to be like the dating game eventually.
They kind of already did that segment with Riddle and your uncle Thatcher.
Shit. See, God damn it! I'm trying to make a joke, and you make it fact. You know,
I'm saying you're right.
You know,
behind you, I'm waving the flag.
I just can't win with you, Smark.
I thought you were about to launch into a 20-minute rant over my choice of news topics.
No, not at all.
God damn it, Smark! We posted that shit.
Well, since we're going totally random, maybe you guys can help me out with something. How the fuck is Dexter Lumis a babyface?
I don't know, but I love this guy.
He was very stalkerish on this episode tonight.
Well,
I'm sorry, a couple nights ago.
Listen, let me just tell you one thing. Dexter Lumis, when he was Sam Shaw, I really thought he was going to bang Ken Anderson's mom. And I always appreciated him since that night. But he's just
I don't know whether it's the mustache. He just comes across very like he should be on somebody's list.
He was sitting there. He was petting Roderick Strong's hair. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I love this guy. I like Dexter Lumis. I liked him as Sam Shaw. I like him even more as Dexter Lumis. Great.
Too, but I kind of wish Triple H would stop signing people that like vaguely resemble Nazis. It's making me a little bit uncomfortable because you already have Imperium, and not like Triple H just keeps signing these people that look vaguely like Nazis.
And Triple H does like the Iron Cross.
Yeah,
just saying.
He's really good in the case against himself.
And Smark, I feel like me and you, it's up to us. We should start a GoFundMe to get Boxman booked on the show so he can be a part of one of those Forgotten Son segments where they put up the warning sign about, the segments are those of Boxman and Box. All I ask is that you just remember the name. Put the Dirt Sheet Dude name out before you go off on Trump tangent.
They're all ex-military, though. They're all ex-military. I am not ex-military. And, of course, this is, obviously Memorial Day coming up. Thank you to all of our military and ex-military. Christopher Kane, I know you were military. Thank you very much for your service. Weebs, of course, thank you for your service. And anyone else who I'm missing, Thank you so much. So there we go. Happy Memorial Day to you guys. Thank you for getting us Monday off. Right? Right? Isn't that what we're thanking him for, right?
Pretty much.
There you go. Shaheen says that, I could definitely join the Forgotten Sons. I'll just say, hey, I'll just lie. I still don't understand the whole John Cena. Anyway, let's not even get into that. All the Forgotten Sons did was cut a promo, right?
Yeah, they did. But I'm waiting for them to say something truly controversial.
I don't think they
because
will.
they put up these disclaimers like they're going to say a bunch of fucked up shit, but WWE doesn't reflect the views of WWE. I need somebody just to go off on a tangent one day.
Well,
like Sami Zayn would be perfect for these segments.
They might say something like, "We love the American flag." You never know. That's controversial now, I guess. But anyway,
So, of course, a callback to the Undertaker segment.
Absolutely. What else happened on this show? Drake Maverick versus Kushida. Great match, actually. Dude, I got to tell y'all something, man. I like this Drake Maverick guy. I can't believe they're getting rid of this kid. And I don't care what anyone says. He's gone after this. This isn't a fucking storyline. He's not going to suddenly win the whole tournament. And no.
You don't think they, because I mean, they kind of stepped in shit with this thing, because I really feel like he was gone. And then they saw like how much traction that little video he got put out, and they said, come on back for a little while.
They're going to admit that they were wrong? No.
It's not even about admitting that they were wrong, but I could definitely see them bringing him back at some point.
I could definitely see them begging him to finish the tournament after that video got. Well, no, it was before it. He said they were going to let him compete, but they might have had the thing to squash him and just get him out of the tournament quick. Maybe they decided later let's switch it up and let him win some matches. They're going to get his hopes up, and then they're going to crush him. There's no way they're going to fucking do that.
But but I'm like, what's the end game there, other than just to be an asshole about it? I feel like if they really wanted to just squash him, they would have just had him eliminated like 2 straight matches, get the fuck out. But the fact that they're kind of dragging this thing out,
I think you just said the end game. Yeah, by the way, I think you said the end game, to be an asshole. I think that was it. Go ahead, Smark. Sorry, buddy.
No, I feel like they're building it up, because I mean, what other real storyline is there in the tournament other than just people want to win belts? Which, I mean, is kind of what it should be about anyway, but like, it's the whole thing that, he's fighting for his job, and they just immediately have him just lose the first 3, and they're like, all right, get the fuck out of here. Like, I could see him winning next week or whenever it is. I think it's next week that they're having that triple threat match, and then having him lose in the finals, and then that'll be it. I mean, I kind of agree. I was kind of on the fence with it until Bach said you expect them to admit that they're wrong, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going. I don't think he's going to be there after this, though. I think he's definitely going to be gone, and I don't know, man. But I'll tell you what, I do see Cody saying no to some people already, like Heath Slater. He doesn't seem to like Heath Slater. What the hell happened there?
Straight flat no.
Like a flat no, fuck that guy. I don't know. So
I wonder if Cody just had a look at the roster and said, like, God damn, we don't want to get that TNA stench on us. So, because you figure, like, they're still a young company, and they still have to, well, this is why it was ridiculous when they said, we're going to be a new company with basically all new wrestlers and all that horse shit. No, you need some type of recognizability. You need some type of people on your roster that have a built-in fan base. You can't build a company from scratch with nobodies. All due respect to, like, guys like the Young Bucks and all that type of stuff. They build up an indie following, but that doesn't necessarily translate to people around the world watching just because the Young Bucks are on, or fucking Cody's on, oh, Kenny Omega's on. Yeah. You need the star power of a Chris Jericho, of a John Moxley, guys that have that WWE rub, that WWE cachet. So yeah, I guess they're like, we don't want to have that TNA stench of just signing anybody that gets released. So I could kind of see why he would just be like, yeah, Heath, you got to stay away. you was a job guy for like a decade plus. We don't need you in here as a top guy.
Yeah, I smell bacon. My wife is cooking bacon. Oh, it's bacon. I can smell that shit. All right, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Smart.
I was on the bacon strip commercial.
It's like I suddenly out of nowhere, I'm like, is that bacon I smell? That's delicious.
I would be very excited if I smelled bacon as well. So
I did perk up like a dog. You guys saw me. I was like, Raggy. Yeah. So there we go.
A brief mention while we are talking about NXT was
no.
Okay.
Okay, no, go ahead.
It's not that important to me, honestly. I was going to say it was pretty cool that they've been under contract for quite a while by now, but they brought out 3.0 in the tag match this week. They were the guys who lost the match to the bald, skinhead-looking fellows that I don't find particularly interesting.
Oh, well, the Ever Rise, was that?
That's right. Yes, Ever Rise. I was curious, and I don't know how much you guys really remember, like, their attire. But
I do.
and I might be reading entirely too much into this, but did it kind of look like they were purposely making them like wear young buckish looking attire because they were going to make them job?
Okay, I saw that everywhere. The young buckish looking attire.
It looks very. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, they're fucking they're trying to bury AEW.
Nah.
Every thing I thought of when I looked at, because that's not normally what they wear on the indies. Like when they're on the indies, they wear kind of like almost Zubaz looking attire.
Which is, again, you're kind of getting into that young buck thing.
True.
It's very, the name and everything is very early 90s if you look at them, by the way. The name, the look, it's just all early 90s to me. I didn't think they were going to really go after the Young Bucks. I think that, I don't know. I didn't catch that, but I mean, I didn't really catch it. When people start saying it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Dig into it. Look where you want. But I didn't think so.
Which, to your point, they have, like I said, they have been under contract for quite a while. They have basically just been using them for like random spot shows and enhancement gigs anyway. So I'm not trying to be like saying, oh, they suddenly made them jobbers and they're trying to make them out to be the Young Bucks. It just looked very kind of Young Bucks inspired attire to me, at least.
All right, I'll go with that. All right. I mean, yeah, I get it. But I don't know, Anthony, you were trying to say something there?
No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And I mean, let's be honest, it's not like the Young Bucks have been above trolling WWE going back at least a good 6-7 years at this point.
Oh, I mean,
maybe a full decade. But I mean, yeah, it's a stretch, but it wouldn't surprise me. Hell, with the whole Tozawa thing, with whatever these ninjas are that are randomly jumping people, taking people hostage, do you guys get like a Dark Order vibe from that?
Not yet. Oh, because they have masks on, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I won't say they're trolling necessarily, but they're probably looking at elements of the show and stealing some things, taking some creative liberties. Because I just think it's ironic that all of these things start to pop up after they happen on AEW.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't get a Dark Order yet. If we find out, like, you know, Phantasmo has been really pulling the strings the whole time, that might be a little Dark Order-ish.
That's kind of the theory. Some people are.
I know it kind of is, and that's kind of why I think if they did that, it would be kind of, I don't know. Hopefully they're bringing someone else in to be the, oh no, the Exalted One? Oh shit. Yeah, you know what? It is kind of Dark Order-ish. Why don't I just go with that now that I'm actually making sense of it? Yes, it is a little Dark Order-ish, Anthony.
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, had Matt Hardy stuck around, he might be doing this shit right now.
Maybe. I don't know, man. Maybe.
I'm not even saying that you're wrong there. I'm just saying that probably isn't that much better than what he would have been doing prior to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. My daughter is crying. Can y'all hear that? You guys can't hear that, can you?
She wasn't a fan of NXT this week.
I guess not. Man. I have to let her watch AEW next week, I guess.
Is she at Box? Are you letting her watch that Buff Bagwell cameo again?
Fucking calm down, Tasmanian devil.
I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry, man. Like I saw that clip earlier, and it don't stop getting funnier. I'm sorry.
Just the idea of like a fucking iPad just duct taped to a roof with the fucking Buff Bagwell video on loop to torture a child. It's just
Oh man, you guys still there?
I am.
I guess Smart, while we're waiting for Box to come back.
That's right.
Anything else on NXT stick out to you was particularly interesting? We got more Charlotte Flair.
Thank you. Actually, there is something, but ironically enough, it does involve Fox, so I'm going to sit on that for a second. But yes, we did get more Charlotte Flair.
D-Large said rough Bagwell. I like that. Oh, that would have been a good name for Wednesday's show. Yeah, Charlotte. No more. I don't need 15 minutes of Charlotte on every fucking show, every fucking week. Once again, no, I don't need it. Is that what you were going to ask?
She fucked up a pretty banging match with Shirai and Rhea Ripley.
Well, that's because they have to shove her on every fucking show every fucking week now.
Mm-hmm.
All three.
Well, it's good for us that she did that because now, thanks to the good people at TV Guide, because who has the fucking scoop these days if it's not TV Guide?
Wow.
Relevant to tout their product. But the good folks at TV Guide have announced that there is going to be a triple threat match at TakeOver between the mentioned parties.
Thank God for TV Guide. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my God! Like you are just like put your earphones in because you don't want to hear the sound of that barrel being scraped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There was something though, which Anthony was right. That was a pretty good match. I was enjoying it, but I did sense some fuckery in the air before that even happened, so it kind of diluted it. Box, I sent you a message after I watched NXT about something that I thought would pique your interest. Now you said you watched it on DVR. Do you have any idea what this might be?
The only thing I caught was Shotzi Blackheart with the Elvis flash.
Yes, sir. I wanted to get what everybody's opinion was on this, but specifically, I figured you would appreciate that because she did have the old TCB emblem on her helmet or uniform. I forget which by now, but I do remember seeing that.
I actually have that necklace pendant or chain pendant that a TCB. I have a TCB earring, and I have TCB cufflinks that I do still wear. So yeah, that was the one I was hoping because that was the only one that really caught my interest. I like that, but I thought it was a little weird. This Punk chick, who was talking about Punk and this and that, and then her life motto is the taking care of business. Elvis. That was Elvis's motto. He had that on his airplane. He had that on his car. He had that everywhere. And like I said, I've got, the earring, I've got the fucking pendant, I've got the fucking cufflinks.
Yeah, and that is, of course, what I did think would pique your interest because I knew that would be in your wheelhouse. It was funny because, and I guess I kind of get why, but they basically made it seem like she had thought that up all by herself, which kind of made me laugh. But I just overall, I kind of wanted to just get what everybody's opinion was on that segment as a whole because it was just so strange. Like it was, I kind of liked it and I kind of didn't like it and I was confused by it and it seemed like kind of like one of those 80s type gimmicks where it seemed like it was just all of it was so very funny to me because it was just like it seemed like at any moment she was just about to throw on like some sunglasses and just play a fucking air guitar solo.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm no fucking queen. I'm a punk rocker.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck school. I don't need that. Just like it was so fucking crazy. Like I had to go back and watch it, and I watched it twice, and I still just don't know what to think about it. It was she just riding around in a tank, like just running over cars, fucking monster truck style. It was so very odd.
It's like she's trying to be a Clash video. The band The Clash, literally like she's trying to be fucking rock. No, like she's trying to rock the Casbah in one video. You cannot rock the Casbah unless you're The Clash in one video. But it was weird, and I thought that is mostly widely known as the Elvis Flash. If you type in Elvis Flash in Google, that's what you're going to get. I promise you.
I'd rather not, just on the risk that certain other things might pop up quite literally.
No, none of that's going to pop up. No. I promise you're not going to get any naked Elvis pictures. I promise. I don't think there is any, really, to be honest with you. And thank God, once again. But that is widely known as the Elvis Flash. And that was weird. The whole video was a little weird. I like her. She's kind of this kind of pixie punk chick, which, is pretty cool, but it was just a little, it was kind of all over the place, but I think it was supposed to be a little all over the place. You know what I mean? I have not searched for naked Elvis pictures, Shaheen. I have never. I just know that there weren't as many cameras back then. Listen, Elvis used to make Elvis used to make women sign shit before he fucked them because they were virgins. Probably underage, knowing Elvis. Anyway, let's move on from that, please.
Was your chance to bring it up?
I didn't mean to. I've had a lot of shots tonight. My wife came home and kept bringing in shots. I'm like, stop! I'm going to be drunk.
We're going to have to put up a disclaimer before the next comment that you make.
Jesus.
Let's keep going. Where were we? Yes, Shotzi Blackheart. Crazy little chick. I like her green hair. Okay.
I mean, for me, actually, I enjoyed it. I'm still on the fence about the weirdness of it all. Because, like I said, it was jarring. But I liked it mainly because it actually gave NXT some personality beyond where the wrestling show. Because a lot of these shows sometimes, like, say what you want about Dynamite week in and week out, the one thing you can never say about that show is that it's boring. With NXT, sometimes it feels like, even before the no crowd shit, so you can't even blame it on no crowds, it felt kind of like matches for the sake of having matches. They would promote big matches, but it wasn't like they had like a long storyline, an overarching reason for happening beyond. This guy and this guy are good wrestlers. You put them together, they'll have a good match.
Right.
This little segment, as weird and as out there as it was, actually felt like a break from the norm.
When I was watching this segment, I thought, shouldn't this have been aired before she came down in the little tank so it made more sense? And you know what, Smark, you're right. This is sort of Lori Petty tank girlish. I get it. But
wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting someone to make the connection. God damn, I feel old.
Hey, you know what Lori Petty was in one episode of?
NYPD Blue.
How the fuck did you guess, dude? My God, you're good.
I'm a rain.
That was Apex, by the way, with the tank girl comparison, just to give credit where it's due.
You're fucking good at this, man. I don't know how. You're good, man. You're fucking good. But yeah, it is. But yeah, I'm thinking, shouldn't they have done this before she came down in the little tank? Because I had no idea why she was coming down in the little tank.
And by the way, I really hope they get rid of that because it looks so fucking cheesy the first time they did it.
Nah, let her come down in the tank. I think it's kind of cool.
I mean, to each his own, I guess. But to me, it looked like it was made in like a middle school theater class.
Maybe they should get like a tank go-kart instead of like a little tank electric toy. There we go. Get her something a little quicker to drive down that ring in. She'll go right under the ring, take her head off. That'll be awesome.
They'll never get rid of it. You know why? It's a merchandising opportunity.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna ride that. It's the same reason they made the fucking Hell in a Cell red as hell. Yeah, on television it's an eyesore, but I guarantee you they didn't make bank on them fucking toy versions of it.
Yeah, probably. So, all right. I got nothing else on NXT. What about you guys?
Nah. Not much, no.
All right, and to be honest, just to kind of knock things out, SmackDown, I really don't have much to say. I got to be honest. I had a little issue tonight. I walked in during SmackDown to do something on the computer, and this computer that I do the broadcasting from the internet was crossed out. So I kind of missed a good portion of SmackDown. I was listening on the headphones, but I missed a good portion. So I don't know if you guys got any high points of SmackDown. I really don't. Honestly, I did not care to see Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. I really didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, for full disclosure, I pretty much zoned out as soon as that happened. I watched it. I know who won, but it kind of killed my enthusiasm too. The matches before that, though, were pretty solid. The Charlotte versus Bayley match, I really enjoyed. And the
I saw that.
AJ match, I don't know why I blanked at his name. That was really good.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Smart, the AJ match. My main takeaway from that is, what the fuck? I don't know, maybe whether it was nerves or what, but how does AJ Nakamura in an empty arena, how is that a better match than the match they had at WrestleMania a couple years ago? That's the whole. I mean, it wasn't like this match was like fucking 18 stars or anything, but it was more cohesive. It flowed better. Box, are you still there?
Yeah, it's like on a pedestal or actually given a reverence.
No, I lost you guys. Are you guys still there? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks.
I can't hear Box either. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. But I guess while we're waiting for him, chat room, let us know. Can you hear me and Smarky at least?
I don't think so.
Oh, Shane, thanks. I guess he can hear us. So while we're waiting for Box, we'll just fill a little bit of time.
Yeah,
so,
I'm here.
Smart...
I'm here. Sorry, man.
Box.
Yeah, there's no reason they can't fucking hear you guys. Why? Did someone say they couldn't hear you?
Oh, no, you had we dropped out.
Oh, I muted. I was talking to my wife about something. Sorry, guys. My little girl's been screaming in there. I asked if you could hear. Sorry, man. Don't worry about that. Come on.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm never going to turn you guys down, though.
Oh.
It's going to turn you down.
No, I'm not.
No, man.
Smart just rickrolled me. You rickrolled me, you bitch.
Name calling, sir. Family podcast.
Jesus. All right. Oh, it is? All right.
We'll take care of that in post, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that.
No, the silence will go away. Don't worry about it. I trimmed that shit down. Don't worry about that. But all right, what were you guys talking about?
We were talking about the AJ and Nakamura match. And,
yes.
Why was the match on SmackDown better than WrestleMania?
Because there was no dick kicks. Maybe? No? Yes? Possibly?
Yeah, I mean, it's true if you think about it. Because the shit that they had going on for Nakamura at the time was pretty awful.
Yeah,
he
was
not speaking English.
And
I mean that in a public way. His gimmick was literally, I know speak of English.
And he was nut-shotting people. That was it. So I think that might be one reason why it was better. But it definitely was a much better match than that. But why? I don't know. Maybe there's no crowd. You got to put on a better match with no crowd, Anthony, obviously.
Now, I know it's not a whole lot to get into from SmackDown, but something that we did want to get into, we wanted to specifically say for Friday, because it ties in beautifully.
All right.
Drew Gulak. No mention of him by name on this show, but you did see the little graphic for the brackets, and it's safe to say that he won out on an extremely high note with that match he had with Bryan last week.
Now, real quick, they're saying negotiations are not over with him, so it may be a possibility for him to be back very soon. So I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to let him go per se, especially with once again another guy who got tons of fucking internet buzz. I would assume they're still working with him, and I guess his agent is a famous agent and is known for holding out until they get the most money for the best bang for the buck. So,
and honestly, I don't know, man. And part of me like, hey, get your money, but part of me is like, I don't even want him to resign at this point because it would just be a case of signing him just so nobody else can get him. Because outside of this Bryan situation, what were they really doing with the guy? He was blowing up on 205 Live, but blowing up on 205 Live is really not much to speak of when they don't promote it.
You want to know what they were doing with him, Anthony? I have a PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint to show you exactly what they were doing with him. I'm kidding.
And the whole thing, even with that, if anything, that kind of showed his versatility. Mm-hmm. He could be serious when they need him to be serious. He could do the comedy. Or he could just give him a good match. Those are the type of guys you want on your roster. Dare I say, WWE would be better if they had a roster full of Drew Gulaks in terms of versatility.
Yeah.
But do you think if he gets re-signed, do you think that this will lead to anything for him? Or do you think he'll just be put on ice like everybody else seems to be put on ice?
It should lead to something for him because obviously if there's this much buzz about it, obviously the guy has fucking talent and we like him. But of course that never means anything to the WWE. When people on the internet like a guy, that's kind of when they decide to, oh, how dare you get over without us making it wasn't your turn. It wasn't your turn to get over. How dare you? So, yeah, they would probably put him on ice. Maybe just put him right back with Daniel Bryan, which it would be the best spot for him to just put him right back with him. But they probably would break that up and put him on ice and, put him in the background again.
And Sam, I could actually, if he does resign, I could actually see him being potentially, if they were actually to invest in him a little bit, I could actually see him turn into another Daniel Bryan. So in other words, if they re-sign him and they basically happy accident, because Bryan basically got over due to a lot of unfortunate circumstances, like the whole Yes thing, total accident. Like, and if anything, he got over because the company treated him like shit for a handful of years. I wonder, could you see Drew Gulak potentially getting that same type of rub if they re-signed him? They'll treat him like shit for so long that he starts to build up a buzz like, this guy's good. He gets his groundswell of support behind him to where they have no choice but to push him.
If he can do what Bryan did, maybe. But I don't know, man. That was kind of a once in a lifetime thing that Daniel Bryan did. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see. Smart, what do you think?
I think that's pretty high expectations. I wouldn't really expect him to quite that level.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like if anything, the best thing that he can kind of hope for is just more money from them. Because I feel like he's going to be one of those people that they just look at as a good hand and not much more. I can't really see anybody bending over backwards to come up with anything special in terms of character for the guy, honestly, which, I mean, is just unfortunate because I think he's pretty talented, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. They're just going to, if he resigns, they're just going to put him out for a while. And I don't think people can. Daniel Bryan had a fucking movement, dude. I mean,
it was like they were talking about in the whole Owen Hart thing. It's like he had a good personality, but he didn't have sort of the larger than life personality that they were looking for. I feel like you could kind of attribute that to Gulak in a sense, because it's like people like him. He's a likable person. He's charming. He's affable.
Mm-hmm.
But to the point that it's going to be an upswell of fan support to that level, I don't foresee it happening.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has that down to earth personality, like a Daniel Bryan, but not the same, man. Just not the same. What do you think?
mean, put it to you like this, and this is a throwback to a different show, but in a world full of best friends, Drew Gulak is not the Denzel that WWE is looking for.
Denzel's pal, but I just don't see him.
Yeah. I mean, I see him as Denzel's friend, but not exactly Denzel. You know, I got you.
Fucked up Hollywood. You fucked up Hollywood. You had a chance to put Denzel Washington and Jerome New Jack Young in the movie together, and you fucked it all up.
That is a buddy cop movie that I would pay double for.
It could be good, shitty, but it'd be fucking amazing.
I don't even fucking like popcorn. I'd buy popcorn. Goddammit.
I wouldn't even need to, but I would be like one of those people that you saw when the like Star Wars prequels were coming out that were just like tents waiting for the movie to buy tickets.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That makes me like that.
Buy a tent. There you go. But SmackDown. Anything else, guys? I mean, there was the Mandy shit. There was I really got nothing on it, man. I really got nothing.
Well, we are getting, because according to one page, Backlash is shaping up to be super epic because we're getting Braun Strowman against Miz and Morrison.
Yeah, like I said, Have got nothing. I mean, I've just got nothing. I
kind of like that, honestly. Like, I mean, it's not something where, like we were just talking about, like buying a shit. Like, we'll give you our money to see it, but it's kind of a different twist. I mean, it's better than just having him squash one of them in a regular match.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get Morrison doing all kinds of flippy dippy, and Braun's gonna catch him, and the match is gonna end.
Yeah, probably. But...
Yeah, and Miz is going to be outside, and this is going to start already causing the split of the Miz and Morrison. That's what I think. I think they're already going to start splitting these guys with this match.
I'll give them a little bit of credit because the beginning of this segment started off so terribly because they did like.
Hold on, Smart. You're cutting out, and you just dropped off a little bit. So wait a second, and let's see if you come on back here. Smart, you there? All right. Smart will come back in a minute here. We'll try not to get too far away before he gets back and ready to go. I think we're going to have to do a little we're going to have to find something else. Anyway.
So while we're waiting for Smart to come back up, Box, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm digging because there wasn't a lot on SmackDown.
No, but hey, don't
Otis,
forget.
I mean, I will say one positive outside of the Charlotte Bailey match, which honestly and truly was a good match. They scaled back on Otis this week, which is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
No promo segment that I can remember. It was just a match and get the fuck out. Because I like Otis. I don't want to ever not like Otis. Mm-hmm. But a quick way to not like Otis is to have him in like 14 out of 16 segments on the show. So I think that hopefully somebody looked at last week's show again and said, yeah, a little too much Otis on this show. Let's scale that back a little bit.
Yeah, you would hope they actually listened and heard what everyone's, because it was just way too much. It was overboard. It was, and he was too Chris Farley-ish. Too Chris Farley on that show. The cartwheel included. So I don't know. I was better with this Otis. Smart, glad you're back. And you were saying, sir, if you remember.
It wasn't all that significant. I apologize for that. We got some weather coming through here, so I might occasionally dip out.
It's fine.
But yeah, They did a better job of not overexposing Otis this week. I thought they're also kind of alluded to during the opening segment that Mandy might be kind of pulling the strings and like kind of waiting to give him the right time to cash in, which we were talking about as a possibility for like a storyline angle last week about her just being kind of the puppet master. So it's interesting that they're even potentially exploring that idea.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught it on commentary. I guess they're alluding to the fact that Otis is starting to get a little bit too big for his britches. He told, according to Corey Graves, he told Tucker not to even show up to the show tonight.
Right.
And it is kind of ironic that we haven't seen Tucker for the past couple of weeks. So once again, a little foreshadowing.
Was Tucker John? Did Tucker go to the Florida government and say shut it down? I know I'm supposed to be the working man, but I ain't working through this shit here. God damn it.
So this is perfect segue there, Box. So
is it really? I don't know why. I was just starting to hurt.
About the shutdown. No. That ties into something I wanted to bring up real quick.
Okay.
So SummerSlam that was supposed to be in Boston this year.
Summerfest.
Summerfest. Super big ass fan.
SummerSlam, yes.
So apparently Vince was willing to, I guess, postpone SummerSlam. Fucking postpone SummerSlam, but not WrestleMania.
Well,
like you want to protect this. I mean, SummerSlam was always like, I would say in the pecking order. Would you say that was a solid number 3? Because for me, I would say it's Mania, then Rumble, then SummerSlam. Some people might have SummerSlam at number 2.
I got SummerSlam at 2. I would put SummerSlam at number 2, man. Really, I would. I'm a big fan of the Rumble, but I would put SummerSlam at the 2nd.
But either way, it just seems weird. He wants to protect the sanctity of SummerSlam, but not WrestleMania.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so. So Mark, I'm reading this the thing that Ansock just posted. Do you? Sounds like you know about this.
Vaguely. I mean, I'm not terribly familiar with the person involved. And Kimura, they were saying she passed away. The kind of overall prevailing logic, I guess, is that it was due to her being like harassed by people online for being on a show called Terrace House, which, if you don't know what it is, I've only watched a couple episodes, but basically it's Netflix. It's on Netflix. I think it's one of their like originals, but it's a Japanese reality show, kind of like The Real World. You have a bunch of like 20-somethings living in a house together.
Okay.
But the thing that happens that's interesting is like people will end up getting into relationships, and then when they get into relationships, they just like, that's it. They just leave the house, and then they bring in like new people. So the whole idea is like them actually trying to find people to date, and then after they actually do, they leave. Try that again. They leave the house. They don't actually keep them there. So it's like actually they still have some of the kind of same reality show tropes, but it seems like it's a little bit more actually based in reality and not totally like, manipulated by producers like you'll see in American reality shows. But yeah, I guess I'm not really familiar with her daily comings and goings, but I guess she was receiving a bit of flack for that because, anytime anybody has a past that's a little bit dodgy, or, any kind of fodder that you can have to make fun of somebody on social media, they're going to end up doing it. So that's shitty to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I don't know really anything about this, so yeah, definitely shitty though.
22 is saying, so that's
22 is that's very young. Whole life ahead of you at that point. But let's see. Let's do this Big Show story real quick. What do you say, guys? And then we'll because I again, NXT to me SmackDown's done. So let's do this Big Show story. I guess Big Show was on I don't know, one of those TV shows they got on Fox there. And he was telling a story about Andre and Hogan.
I've heard this story. Never stops being funny.
Let's go ahead and hear it.
And I have a
We have like an hour and a half, so.
Okay, good. Then I'm going to tell you this story. So years ago when Hogan was wearing the light blue tights, he was a heel. And he's working with Andre and doing towns. And back then in the business was very kayfabe. Heels were heels. Baby faces were baby faces. Well, Hogan was facing Andre, and they were on the same flight together. And this was years ago, earlier in Hulk's career. And he had met this pretty young lady on the plane, flight attendant. He's dancing with her in the aisle and, doing the things that young guys do. Andre wasn't having it because Hogan was supposed to be a heel, and Andre was always about business. So, you get to the building, and sure enough, Hogan goes out first, and, he got her a nice front row ticket. He's there doing the double buys for her and posing, and Andre's calculating all this, hasn't said a word. So Andre gets in the ring and starts to beat the ever-loving snot out of Hulk Hogan. Like Terry told me himself, he says, I was 330 pounds and there was nothing I could do. Like between Andre throwing him in the corner and sitting on his chest when Hogan was in the corner. And then, went to the bathroom while he was sitting on Hogan's chest. Number 2.
Oh, no!
Big league. True story.
Big league move right there.
Grabbed him by the hair, pulled him out to the middle of the ring.
In the world? Oh my God!
Pulled him out to the middle of the ring, bent him over his knee, took his giant thumb, put it right where it's not supposed to go, looked at the flight attendant and goes, how do you like him now? Hogan
my God!
It's one of the most horrific stories ever, but there's a lesson to be learned in that. There's a lesson to be. The lesson to learn is
to take Imodium.
Yeah, the lesson to be learned is it's about business. It's not about you. It's about business. And in that ring, you have a character. You have a part to play. It's always about business. It's not your personal gratification to go out there and amuse yourself and get yourself over. You have a job to do. If you're a heel, be a heel.
Make sure to follow us on all.
Yeah, that's fucking nasty.
Well, it's a big no.
Oh.
Yeah, on the one hand, it's very much admirable that Andre was all about business.
Of course.
On the other hand, not enough you could pay me to put my thumb up another man's ass. I don't give a fuck. I don't man, wrestling is fucking weird sometimes, bro.
Well, it kind of make it sound like if Andre wanted his thumb up the ass, it was going up the ass. I don't think you could stop Andre. Hogan was 330 pounds. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
330 pounds, Hulk Hogan.
I'm actually surprised. Honestly, despite everything we had just heard, the one aspect that I'm most shocked by is the fact that Hogan told a story where he didn't come out looking like a million.
Well, I'm surprised.
I'm actually surprised he willingly told that story.
I was 450, brother, and I couldn't do a thing. Oh, gee, 330 pounds. Hulk Hogan, come on, take it easy, buddy. Anyway, I guess before I gag, all right, Anthony, you want to get into the whole Mark Henry, Leo Rush?
Of course. It's been quite the hot topic.
It has.
And let's start here.
Okay.
Before we kind of get into the meat and potatoes
of
the whole thing.
Oh, I'm hungry.
And I know it's not bacon, but meat and potatoes is still good.
Yeah, that was popcorn, by the way. If that shows you how much I've been drinking, that was popcorn. I smelled. Yes, she cooked popcorn, not bacon.
In this whole debate with Leo Rush and Mark Henry, War of the Roses, so to speak, whose side are you gentlemen on? Because this is one of those you gotta decide. Whose side do you lean more towards? Because I feel like
West Coast type shit.
Yeah. Because to me, both guys make solid points, but in some ways,
Mark Henry.
I tend to side with Mark Henry on me.
On
my end as well. Smart.
Well, this is going to be interesting, I guess, because I guess this means I'm in enemy territory, but I'm really more kind of on the Leo Rush side.
Oh, you whiny little fucking bitch! What the fuck? All right.
And I'm just gonna say this from jump, man. Like, I feel like Leo Rush instigate this whole new segment is between him and Mark Henry. I feel like he instigated the whole thing when he randomly, out of the blue, tweeted, "Oh, I woke up one day and I remembered the time Mark Henry, blah, blah," and then that caused Mark Henry to respond. And then ever since then, that's what started this whole thing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Leo Rush sometimes just needs to shut the fuck up. Like sometimes when I feel like it's like the ACH thing all over again. Sometimes when you have a good point, speak your piece and keep it moving. The more you talk, the less of a point you make sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what, Anthony, you made the point. The more both of them talk, the worse they both sound. I'll agree with that. They're both not handling this very well. It's just a weird fucking thing, and what tweet did it start with? I don't have it pulled up. I've got one article pulled up, but it doesn't have the original tweet that started it.
I'm like I said, I don't have the tweet with it. Who knows? He might have Leo Rush might have did the old tweet and delete, or unless Antox could find a screenshot. But it was essentially something along the lines of, like I said, he said Mark Henry wasn't very giving to him. He was one of the guys that held him back. Because, Mark Henry is one of the guys that he holds all of the other black people down in the company, in the wrestling business, which, Jesus Christ.
And is that when he said, and this is why African-American talent on the biggest platform will continue to not have equal opportunity because people like you constantly tear down your own people? A damn shame, honestly.
Yeah, something along those
lines. That's the one I start with. Okay.
Yeah, but I just want to know, what the fuck? You're 25 years old. This dude literally was wrestling for less than 5 years before he got signed by WWE.
Right.
And nobody can dispute that the guy is talented. Nobody can dispute that. But I think because he didn't have that whole Daniel Bryan, that AJ Styles, that CM Punk type of indie run where he had to scratch and claw for everything that he got in the business, I feel like he has a certain level of entitlement about him. Because, I mean, how the fuck do you make $300,000 a year? Or you're saying like you can't live off of $300,000 a year? Fuck you. Like fuck you, man. Like, I'm sorry, you can't support a family on $300,000 a year. Yeah, you doing something wrong.
Yeah, definitely, man. There's some fucked up shit going on, but I don't know. These two both are just sounding like fucking children at the end of the day. Mark Henry is going to sue him. And it's like, Mark Henry, my lawyer, I got an Ivy League lawyer on my side. Well, that doesn't really matter. It's both of you stop. Just stop. And it looks like they have, thank God. So, I don't know, man. Smark, what do you got on that whole thing?
Well, I'm delicate because I have some things and some thoughts and feelings and emotions in regards to this. But first off, like, I don't think that the shit that Rush was complaining about before, I do think it makes him look like an asshole. I'm not about to defend him on that. But the thing is about, like, it just seems really bad right now at a time like this to be sort of celebrating about how easily you could sue the shit out of somebody, especially when it's somebody who is in sort of a fraternity, for lack of a better word, that you're in, because, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think I'm out of line by saying that there's kind of a scarcity amongst African-American wrestlers. Yes? Fair?
That's fair.
Like, there's not that many of them, so that there is sort of a fraternity there, I guess. And, like, I'm not even really here to kind of defend what Rush said about him. I don't know if it's true or not. But during a fucking pandemic, to come out here and not to just be like, this motherfucker's full of shit, he's lying, this and that, fuck him, I'll kick his ass next time I see him, whatever. You know, there's all kinds of weird, frivolous, and baseless, untrue shit said all the time by wrestlers about other wrestlers and just in general. So just the idea that you're so very proud that you can afford high-priced lawyers to try to take this man's money when he's making probably far less than you are, it's just not a great look to me, honestly. And, like, the whole, like, Mark Henry, like, just... He seems like he wants to be remembered in a way that I don't think he will be, and I think it's bothering him at this point in time. Because, like, it's kind of in relation to the Rush thing. He was saying that he was basically responsible for almost all of the newer, at least, the younger people outside of, like, you know, people past, like, Kofi Kingston. But the newer core of black wrestlers that they signed, that he basically went to bat with them, and he got a lot of them their jobs. First off, is there really any proof of that? A. And B, how would you feel if you were one of those guys, like, let's just say a Keith Lee that's been out there just fucking grinding for years and years and years, and you have a guy out there that's basically saying the only reason you are...
Whoa, Smart. Smart, you went totally robotic right there. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Try this again, maybe?
There you go. You're back.
Well, I don't really know where it was that I cut out on, but I was saying, like, he had come out and kind of said that he was responsible for an overwhelming majority, percentage-wise, of...
Oh, man. All right, Smart. Once again, you're out. And wait, you're back.
Well, try this one more time. Anyways, well, the point was I'm going to go ahead and try to say this even faster this time in hopes that I can get it out before the alarm. He was saying that he was taking a large amount of credit for the majority of the younger African American talent that they signed. And my question with that is there any proof behind that? A, and B, if you're somebody like, say, a Keith Lee or whatever, or a Swerve Scott, you're like, how would you feel if you were out there just day in and day out for years grinding on the independent scene, and you have somebody that's basically saying what you did doesn't really matter or had a very small significance in where you are today because he basically just did you a favor. Like, your effort was really sort of coincidental or incidental. Like, it just seems like he wants to be remembered. He wants a place in history that I don't really think he is perceived as having. Like, he kind of wants, like, a Ron Simmons position or like a Kofi Kingston position of being influential and being sort of a trendsetter, trailblazer, pioneer that I don't think he really achieved, and I don't think a lot of people publicly view him as.
Man, you got pretty deep with that.
That's actually it. Damn, that's a valid point, Smart.
Yeah, it's like a real valid point that, yeah, and I could see that where, yeah, he's not going to have the legacy that he should. I mean, let's face it, the best thing the guy ever did was in a fucking salmon jacket. Really, it was. That's the best thing he ever did, was the fake retirement and the salmon jacket.
Yeah, and it's weird because I've been watching, I've been following the whole interview series that he's been doing with DJ Vlad, and a lot of what Smart said is actually reflected in the later portions of that interview, which I'm not sure how many parts are left, but he definitely gets into like how he wants to be remembered, because there were different points where they wanted to push the guy, but it was just always circumstance with him. Either, you know, he was too arrogant, he was too young to appreciate what he had, or it was a situation where he would get hurt. Because I don't know if you guys remember the Silverback era. I try to forget that era for a lot of reasons. But they were pushing him hard, but then he got hurt. And then it seemed like he was in a state of flux for a few years, and then the whole Hall of Pain thing started. and then off to the races. So it really wasn't until like the latter part of his career that he finally got that run. But in hindsight, I don't think even though it produced a lot of good things, he got the world title run. He gave that great promo with the, like you said, Box, the salmon jacket. I don't know if it's enough of a collection, a solid enough of a collection to go, yeah, Mark Henry had a Hall of Fame career. And the grand scheme of things, I know they put him in the Hall of Fame, but it was just like he was in the company for 20 some odd years. And it literally took for him to get towards the end of his career for the company and him to kind of like finally put it together.
Yeah. Put
together the right mix. That really isn't reflective of a legendary career, all due respect.
No, I do see that, but man, I didn't expect Smart to get all deep like that into that. But all right, guys, I'll tell you what. All I've got is Double or Nothing, which will be tomorrow night. We will be live for that right there. All I've got is the predictions for that. You guys want to do that and then wrap this motherfucker up?
Yep.
All right. I guess then let's go ahead and do that. Let me pull that up real quick. There we go. All right. Looks like we've got a pre-show. We will be on after the pre-show. Look at that match is Private Party versus the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy. This is a tag team match to determine the number one contender for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Smark, why don't you go ahead?
This is a bit of a tough one. I'm just going to go ahead and go with Best Friends in this one. But I honestly really wouldn't be surprised if they did give it to Private Party just for the sake of having somebody who kind of feels uniquely theirs. But I'll go Best Friends.
All right. Anthony, what you got?
I'm going to go Best Friends just because of the Orange Cassidy effect.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason I'm kind of looking the same way. And let's face it, has Private Party really been on TV lately or been pushed at all for anything?
Not really. I mean, honestly, their most memorable moment the last couple of weeks was them paying homage to Shad the Gaspard on Dynamite.
Yeah,
So
and that was really
very class act of them. Very nice. But.
Yeah, but it was real quick outside the ring, and that was it. That was all we saw. So I'm going with Best Friends just again for that reason. And I am keeping up with our picks here. I got three little documents going up here for us. All right. I guess we'll go ahead and go down to the bottom of the list from there and start with there's 9 total matches on this show. Okay. Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard. Looks like he's going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah, singles match. What do you guys think? Spark?
This is a tough one. I think I said that about the other one too, but I'm gonna go Spears. It's tough because last pay-per-view they did Rhodes put over Swagger, so it's gonna be kind of hard for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to kind of add some offense to that, but they see something in Spears that we don't.
All right, Anthony.
Pains me to fucking say this, but I'm going to go with Spears on this one just because it feels like they're going to want to tell a story with Dustin being like almost like it feels like they're going to tell a story that he feels like a sad sack type of deal. Like they're going to put him on like a little bit of a losing streak till he gets his mojo back, so to speak.
See all the shit that's been talked. I want to go with Dustin, and I'm gonna fuck both of you guys. I'm going with Dustin.
It could be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
No. Come on, Box. You're a natural.
Oh, shit. All right, here we go. We have a stadium stampede match. I am really, really interested to see this match, especially after what we saw the other night on AEW. It is the Elite versus the Inner Circle. The Elite being Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus the Inner Circle. We know who that is. Jericho, Hager, Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. This This is a tough one, right, Smart?
Tough one. So many tough ones.
This is a tough one. Man. Let's see. Chris Jericho, hey. Does Inner Circle need... this to me comes down to, does Inner Circle need the win here? Honestly, it does. Do they need the win in a stadium?
Well, I mean, you do have, coming off the heels of Jericho losing his title.
I'm going to go the Elite. That's what I'm doing. I'm going Elite.
I'm going to go Elite as well, just because it feels like the Inner Circle has, for the most part, by and large, got the upper hand throughout the course of the feud.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jericho lost the belt, but by and large, whenever they've kind of been head-to-head, the Inner Circle has been the dominant force.
Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly, Jericho's strong enough on the mic and in the ring still that I don't think them dropping this match is going to hurt them at all.
No. Even though they did... Oh, I'm sorry, Smart. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please. Okay. Did I cut out Smart somehow there?
The evil promoter.
Oh, the evil goddamn. But yeah, I don't know. The Inner Circle, even though they just lost that last match with Omega and everything. This is Inner Circle or the Elite. The Elite. Smart, are you back here?
I'm trying. I don't know how well I'm
You're
coming
good.
out to you guys, but it's getting very robotic noises coming from you guys.
Hopefully Anthony sounds good and I sound good, I think. Go ahead though. What who do you got in this one? Elite, Inner Circle. I got to know.
I'm on Spark.
Come on, Spark, tell me. Message, goddammit, type if you have to. Just tell us. Please, I've got to know, man.
If I had to guess, he's probably going to go Inner Circle.
Just to spite us, that son of a bitch. Just to spite us.
I feel like we're spiting each other tonight. This is like a contrarian episode.
Yeah, it's all right. All right. Me and you can keep going. I will definitely get his picks because I don't have his highlighted right here. So Anthony, let's go ahead and keep going. Smart, when he gets back, we'll definitely get his picks. I'm not going to leave him out of this.
Sure.
We got Penelope Ford coming out with Kip Sabian.
Chris Statlander.
Yes, versus
Sabian.
Chris Statlander. Singles match right here. There we go. Smart's going to log back in here. Ford or Chris Statlander? Smart, we got you?
Yeah, I think so. I just went ahead and refreshed.
Oh, perfect. Elite, Inner Circle, what you got?
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Inner Circle on this one just because I don't think that they're necessarily done with the feud, and I think if you had the Elite win, it would kind of be the end of it. So there we go.
All right. Once again, Penelope Ford, Chris Statlander. Who do you got there? Anthony, go ahead.
Ford is replacing Baker, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Obviously, Britt Baker out with possible ACL injury, could be out 6 to 9 months. So,
oh Jesus! Oh.
Yeah, I was telling you guys, she hurt herself something bad.
It was not her fault. I know I joked about it the other night, but yeah, Statlander dropped Nyla right on her fucking leg. So I'm not going to shit on her for it. But anyway, Ford versus Statlander. Anthony,
I want to go Ford.
And
based on what we saw Wednesday with Statlander, watch your neck. Watch your neck for Penelope.
Exactly.
But yeah, I want to go Penelope on this one because Statlander still needs someone. That whole entire women's division, but man, she needs some work too in the ring.
Yeah. All right, Smart. Before you drop out, let me go ahead and get yours.
Hopefully. I'm going to go Statlander on this one. I do think that they are grumming for it, but I think that's kind of a long-term project. She still seems like she's kind of sloppy to me, but
for some reason, I think they're going to give us a Statlander too. So I'm going with you on that one. All right, we have a no DQ match right here and no count out match. Basically, that a no DQ match is a no count out match. Why did they have to word it like that? Anyway, for the AEW World Women's World Championship, Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. Do they give it to Shida now or do they wait? Go ahead, guys.
Well, you just said my exact opinion of this match. It's going to be a whole lot of Shida.
Oh.
No, they just put the belt on Nyla. They're trying to build her up as like the beast of this division in a lot of ways, literally. So yeah, the belt's not going nowhere.
Yeah. Smart, what do you think there? Same thing?
Yeah, can agree with that.
All right, give me 1 sec. Let me put some highlights on all those for us real quick. And next match is the Casino Ladder match for the AEW Championship. Phoenix has been taken out of the match, replaced with Joey Janela. We've got Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, and Luchasaurus, and one to be determined. I don't know, guys. You think to be determined's got it?
Yeah, I feel like I figure AEW this past week teased an fucking Arn Anderson and Jake Roberts match. I feel like to be determined, it has to be Sting, right?
No,
it has to be Sting, maybe DDP.
It's CM Punk. Let's start it right now. Let's do it, guys. It's fucking CM Punk.
It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. You know how like people were kind of like disappointed when CM Punk's quote unquote big return to the WWE was on fucking Backstage?
Yeah.
It would be hilarious to me if Tony Khan looked at that, if he ever got the chance to bring in Punk and he looked at that and said, "Hold my beer."
No.
And had Punk debut in like a pre-show match or something for an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. Now, as far as, I mean, a lot of people are saying it could be Gulak. Now, let's be honest here. Almost all the other guys are on a 90-day non-compete still. The only one whose contract expired, which would make him, just like Matt Hardy, not under a non-compete, would be Gulak. But if he's still negotiating with WWE, I don't see that happening. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't even want to fucking guess who TBD is because I really don't fucking know. And to be honest, I really don't fucking care. It's taking up my Saturday.
It'll be fucking Dreamer.
Yeah.
It'll be fucking Dreamer or Bully Ray.
Oh.
Let's be honest.
Oh, fucking Dreamer coming down. Fucking. Oh my God. No, come on.
Come on, dude. Dreamer's on everything. He's like the patron saint of pro wrestling.
Be DDP probably. I don't know. Dreamer doing a ladder match though. Now, no. Let's think of who could. I mean, who really could be doing a ladder match right now that they don't have in there?
It's hard to say because I feel like this is kind of their fault if they don't have something big planned because they have made it seem like it's going to be a big deal. So you would almost have to look at some of the higher profile names that are out there. Yeah. But I mean, they do still also have access to fucking damn near anybody on the independent scene right now.
Yeah, Antox
I wouldn't be surprised if they use somebody like Brian Pillman Jr. or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Antox is saying Brian Cage. You know what? I'd like to see Cage in there. Brian Cage seems like a pretty good dude. A former guest on the old THT show, actually. So I don't know, man. I don't even want to guess. But as far as a winner, man, I'm gonna go Darby. In a ladder match, I'm going Darby.
That's a solid choice.
Thank you.
Based on like recent TV happenings and exposure, I'm going to go Orange Cassidy on this one.
Orange, all right, Orange Cassidy. All right, you think it's going to fall into either one of them? Are going to drop it right into his hands?
Yeah, I believe I could see them. I could see them doing like a spot similar to what we saw at Money in the Bank a few weeks ago.
All right, Smart.
Okay. I'll go ahead and be bold and I'll actually make a prediction for the TBD. I'm probably being a little bit overly out. Missed the timing of it. Because like almost immediately after the whole contract thing expiring happened, suddenly there was an announcement. So it doesn't seem like happenstance to me, but be that as it may, the actual winner of the match, I'm gonna side with you, Bags, and I'm gonna go with Darby.
Darby. All right. You got a little robotic there, but we got exactly what you said. So not a problem. All right, guys. 3 more matches. AEW World Championship match. Moxley versus Brody Lee. Is the title going anywhere yet?
No, Moxley.
All right. Anthony's jumping right in with Moxley. Not even a heartbeat went by. No. Smark, what you got there?
I mean, I can see there being fuckery, but I just can't see there being a title change. So I will go with Moxley.
Okay. Almost one. I don't know why my fucking gut's telling me that they may change that title to Brody, but no, I'm going to go with Moxley, and I'm going to probably regret it. I'm going to go Moxley, like I said, and I might regret that shit, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think this is an easy match right here. MJF versus Jungle Boy. Anyone see MJF losing this?
No.
Smart.
There's always a chance, but no.
All right. I agree with that one. I knew that would be a fucking quick one. All right, guys. Let's get to the what will probably be the main event is the tournament final for the AEW. What?
No, just man. Cody putting himself in the main event, even though it's not a world title match. But continue.
It's the AEW. It's the inaugural AEW TNT Championship match. This is for the first ever TNT Championship. Cody's got to find a way to get himself in a championship match somehow. Cody versus Lance Archer. I see a lot of fuckery on both sides going on in this match, and I'm praying that Lance Archer ends up pulling it out one way or the other.
Poor little Tink Tink. I agree, but no, look, Cody's winning that shit, man. I've kind of like, I have my cup of smart tears right now that I want to take a sip of. Yeah. I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that Cody's going to take it.
You've made your peace with it?
Yeah, I've made my peace with it. I'm not even going to be upset come Saturday because this is how they're going to backdoor their way into this dude getting a world title match again with this belt.
All right. So you're going with Cody?
Yeah.
All right. Anthony's going with Cody. Let me highlight and save this under your name. And Smark, what do you got there? And we've lost Smark again. Luckily, we're about to wrap this bad boy up. But I do want to get Smark before we... I will not wrap up without getting Smark's prediction on this match. I don't care if he has to fucking type it into Skype. We will get it one way or the other.
While we're waiting for Smart, I did want to plug something real quick.
Okay.
And this is a good. Normally, I don't. It's some of these GoFundMe's for wrestlers can go fuck off, can go fuck themselves. But every so often, you come across a good one. So if you have a couple bucks to spare, the family and friends of Shad Gaspard have started up a GoFundMe page. It's under that exact name, the Shad Gaspard Family Fund Official. They're looking to raise $100,000 as their goal, and they already, as we record this, have raised $20,545.
Wow, nice.
So, like I said, I know it's tough times for all of us. I'm going to make a donation at some point this week. If you got a few bucks to spare, it's more than a worthwhile cause, especially everything that we've learned about this dude over the past couple of days, man. It's a tragic situation, but the least we could do is make things a little bit easier for his family that's still here.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll jump on there and give a little donation myself. So, Smart, looks like you're back.
I can only hope.
You are, sir. Cody, Lance Archer, I will not leave without getting your prediction, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I am begrudgingly picking Cody, but it is what it. I just don't think they're just the whole, especially the way that the whole feud's been going on with the kind of stuff that like Jake's been saying about Brandy and like current climate. You have to have the man, stick up for all that is right and put the old-fashioned sexist assholes in their place and this, that, and the other. And they spent all that money on Tyson. They're not going to spend all that money on Tyson if they're not going to have something, they're not going to have the guy of their choosing go over. So it's going to be Cody.
All right. If you say so here. All right. I got all three of our picks here all saved and ready to go for tomorrow. All right. So there you go. I don't know, man. I'm just saying Cody's talking about building stars all the time, and this is the time to do it. If you're gonna build stars, you got to fucking lay down for them. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But I mean, there's been a couple of instances where he's sort of bashed Triple H and then did as Triple H has done. So.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I'm not disagreeing, and I reluctantly picked. Lance there, but we will see. But let's see here. Oh my God, Tony Khan gave $10,000 to the Shad Gaspard Fund.
Yeah, you cut out there for a little bit, Smart. I don't know have you seen the GoFundMe page for the Gaspard family?
I have, yeah. It's definitely a worthwhile cause.
Once again, Tony Khan, $10,000 to the fund. Just let that sink in for a second.
Yeah. It never worked for the man.
No, but I'm sure Jericho and a lot of other guys that are there are telling everybody what a great fucking guy he was. Jesus Christ. I'm surprised he put his name. I'm surprised he didn't just put AEW, $10,000. Awesome right there. That's a big thing right there. But all right, guys, we're creeping up on that. Creeping up on 3. Do you guys got anything else? And by the way, thank you, Antox, of course, for posting that in the chat room, for letting me see that. I really appreciate it, man.
In relation to that, real quick, it's obviously not quite as amazing as the donation that Tony Khan gave, but every donation matters. It looks like here that Travis Tomko donated $250, which was formerly Tyson Tomko. If it is the same person or somebody else using his name, it's hard to tell, but there you go.
Yeah, glad he's not going into fast food bathrooms and shooting drugs anymore.
Jeez, and I was going to say I honestly thought he was dead, but I decided not to because I felt like that would kill the vibe.
No, I believed he walked into a Burger King.
Good job.
Yeah, I believe he walked into a Burger King or something, asked for a spoon, and then anyway.
I do remember this.
Yes. Anyway, I got nothing else on this whole wrestling stuff, guys. Like I said, we're creeping up on that 3-hour mark. Actually, it's 3 hours right now. Be a little less since we didn't do anything, but all right, guys. Anything else, or let's wrap this bitch up?
Let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
We're going to see these people in a couple hours anyway with a live reaction show.
That's right. We'll see you guys in a few hours for the double or nothing. But of course, once again, you guys want to check out Shaheen. You want to check out nuclearheatshop.com for all his art. Chairshottees.com for more of his art on t-shirts. And clotheslinemedia.com. You guys are definitely going to want to stay tuned to clotheslinemedia.com. He's going to have some really good stuff coming out soon. Definitely going to want to hear a interview that he just did very, very recently. I promise you're going to want to hear it. Viral. That's what I'll say right there. And, of course, check out the high marks. Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. Definitely want to get listening to those guys. If you're not, you should be. Unscripted Wrestling, same thing. Definitely listen right over there. Eric, Doug, Daniel, and all the other crew over there. And Stephen Milan. Appreciate you sharing the show, man. Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. We want you to subscribe, rate, review, follow us on Spreaker, subscribe to our YouTube, join our Facebook page, facebook.com/DirtSheetDudes. Come on over. And you can get us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere you find podcasts right there. Anthony, go ahead.
Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast, Jason Clark, available on all fine podcast platforms, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Download, share, review. And Rant Time with Ray, available, same podcast platforms. And check out the YouTube channel, same name, Rant Time with Ray.
There you go. Smart. You want to do that again? Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Sure, one more time, just because I actually have a lot of fun saying the name and also listening to it. The Planet Rock on Tour podcast, Planet Rock on Tour podcast with Bobby Anthem, Yuck Nasty, and Papa Dave Sincere. Go ahead and check it out. If you can hear us, you can find them.
There you go. All right, everybody. We will see you guys tomorrow for Double or Nothing. Appreciate the whole chat room joining us tonight. We always appreciate when you guys come on in here and listen live. And we definitely appreciate all the downloads. And we will see y'all tomorrow night. See ya!
Peace.
It's time to take the band home. It's all right. If you don't know what to do with yourself.